Snapshot, brought to you by Miller Lite. When it's game time, it's Miller time.
This hour is brought to you by Legacy Group Capital Common Sense Lending.
From the Quantum Fiber Studio, this is Wyman and Bob.
On Seattle Sports.
Streaming live on the Seattle Sports app and at seattlesports.com.
Now, here are your hosts, Dave Wyman and Bob Stelton.
Well, the All-Star break is here, so we have some new faces and sounds coming your way here on Wyman and Bob today. Mike Lefko, and you know what? Because the Mariners drafted a guy from LSU, we decided, why not make the call as well? We are bringing in another LSU lefty, Charlie Furbush, here today as well with me. How's it going, man?
You know, it feels like draft day all over again.
Yeah,
you know,
rocking the LSU polo.
Exactly, yeah. It's feeling good, man. Everything's great. Good to be on.
What did you think about that? We'll talk about Kade Anderson and the draft a little bit more coming up at 2:30. Ryan Rowland-Smith will join us at 3 o'clock as well. And we're hoping to catch up with a guy who now coaches your alma mater, Jay Johnson. He is going to join us sometime after the draft ends, so it might be today, might be tomorrow, because we're only going until 5 o'clock, because we want to hear and watch the Home Run Derby. You guys want to watch the Derby as well, so we'll see if Jay Johnson joins us. But just spur of the moment, off the top of your head there, what were you thinking when you saw, oh, hey, look, the Mariners got Kade Anderson?
I was certainly impressed. I mean, what a treat. What he did in the College World Series was incredible. Off that complete game shutout, just insane performance, and really probably vaulted himself up a few spots in that draft. I think a few people thought maybe there were some other prospects that could have went in front of him. Obviously, the Nationals and the Angels went in different directions. And lo and behold, Kade Anderson falls right to the Mariners, and what a treat. And when you get a steal of a draft pick like that for the Mariners, why not cash in and get a guy that can ultimately help your big league club pretty soon?
Oh, the Angels. Our thanks to them as well. We'll get into that a little bit more at 2:30. So Bob and Dave, they will be back this week. You know, they're taking some time off. It is the All-Star break, so we bring in, you know, the relievers. You're the reliever. I'm the reliever as well. Dave will be back tomorrow. Bob back on Friday. But what's so funny about the draft, Charlie, and they did move it now a couple years ago to go kind of coincide with the All-Star game, but regardless of where it was happening, it was always happening during the baseball season. So you have the future going on, and all the focus is on what's going to help your team, but you also have your current team in the middle of a game or a season or a stretch like the Mariners were. So while all that excitement was happening, and the Mariners were putting the wraps on perhaps the most impressive weekend of the season, a series sweep of another one of your teams there, the Tigers. So the Mariners are coming into the All-Star break with a sweep of the Tigers off the heels of getting swept by the Yankees. And you look at this team and you kind of throw up your hands and say, well, what do you make of it? Are they the team that we just saw against the Tigers, or are they the team that got swept by the Blue Jays and the Yankees and by some other teams this year as well? So what do you make of this Mariners team after this sweep of the Tigers?
You know, I'd say they're probably a combination of both, right? I mean, I think the sweep of the Yankees was tough, and obviously the last one, how that ended, you just really didn't know going into Detroit what you were going to go against, and having to go against Scooble like that, and another, you know, starter of the All-Star game. Okay, you're up against it, and this series could get, you know, pretty ugly pretty quick, and the Mariners did what they did against him last time, and did a great job of getting that first series win in Game 1. But then to go and take the next two is just, it's kind of this, I don't know, microcosm of the Mariners this year. Like, okay, what are we going to get? Are we going to get this team that is really good and can score 10-plus runs and pitch have lights-out pitching? Or is it going to be just kind of, one department of the team shows up and it's just pitching? What an impressive performance. What a great way to go into the second half. And I know, obviously, the whole team's going to be excited to see Cal in the Derby tonight, and obviously the game tomorrow. But it's exciting. I think it puts the Mariners in a really good spot going into the trade deadline, and an exciting spot to go and really try and continue to go after the Astros and maybe get a chance to win in the AL West.
It kind of parallels the frustrations and the joy of this team this year, right? And maybe even over the last few years of the Mariners, where they have shown what they're capable of, and then they yo-yo between the extremes of everything that we were just talking about, where you think, all right, in this small sample size of this series against the Tigers, where they put up 35 runs and they have a ton of home runs, 11 of them in the series, 5 of them yesterday. against two all-star pitchers, against the guy in Tarek Skubal, who they've had a lot of success against, even though everyone else hasn't been able to hit him. He hasn't lost against anyone else except the Mariners. So when you see that, it does make you believe the ceiling of what this team is capable of. Now they just kind of have to find this level ground. And I almost kind of rue the fact and don't like the All-Star games now. You know, you almost hope, all right, the Mariners, they need to keep going, keep riding this momentum. It will never come at a good time, and I think this is more of the projection of they have struggled out of the All-Star break in recent seasons, so that worry lingers. We have a whole week to worry about that, so we won't yet. But you see something like that, and now you just hope, okay, whatever they channeled there, can they keep that going? Now, I know it's going to be an extreme to say they're going to hit 11 home runs in a series again. That's a lot. But just some semblance of that, and I think at least for me, and I don't know if you feel the same way just about the top of the lineup, but seeing some measure of consistency, putting Cal Raleigh aside, because home run-wise, he has been, unimpeachable. He has been up there. He's done everything you need. But seeing some measure of consistency over these past few weeks from Arozarena, and J.P. Crawford has just continued to produce. Now he's on a 14-game hit streak. And then Julio, who represents still that X factor because of what he's capable of. So after a series like he had, you start to believe again in Julio. And that's the great what if is, okay, do you think Julio now has started to figure out perhaps what had been missing from his season so far?
I certainly hope so. Kind of for me, a little unexpected to not, go to the All-Star game, but it tells me that the break and the physical health, the mental health is much more important right now than going to Atlanta and enjoying the festivities. Because he wants to win. He wants to be a part of this team when they finally get to the promised land and win a World Series. And would not be surprised if Julio is on that roster when the Mariners finally, get that done. This lineup though is just, you mentioned the top of the lineup. Yes, they've JP has, I would say the resurgence, almost like a 23. Of what JP looked like in 2023. Yeah. I mean, last year was hurt and just didn't really perform well. Eventually put him down in the lineup. Now he's hitting, at the top of the lineup where he always is. And he's having arguably one of his best seasons of his career. So a guy like that has just done a tremendous job of just laying the foundation for the lineup to get things started. And then another guy you mentioned who kind of has become this, X factor in the lineup is Randy. Randy Arozarena has done such a good job, having to now pick up the slack because what the league has seen is said, okay, Cal, guess what? We're not going to pitch anymore, man. You're doing stuff way too often, and we can't afford to just throw a pitch over the plate and have you do damage. So here's 4 pitches, or there's ball 4. You're going to first base, and now it's going to fall on Randy. And you've seen this now. Randy has actually stepped up and had some big at bats and drove in some runs and some big home runs. But when you look at this lineup, that's where all these guys that we mentioned, they're great. These are great foundation pieces, and Julio and Cal and JP and everyone is awesome. But if any of these players kind of go downward, you're gonna need someone else, and it's like the someone else. It's gonna fall on someone else's to pick up the slack. So I think that's where we continue to look at this team and say, okay, I think they're just one more piece away from like kind of solidifying this lineup. So if there is a stretch of a slump, someone else is there to pick up that slack.
Yeah, we'll get into our projections for the second half. What might be solid, what we might have concerns about, or still question marks. Some of those things you mentioned with the lineup and what they might do at the trade deadline. We'll get into that at 4 o'clock. But here was Julio, and he was such a key part of this series against the Tigers. What the message was to this Mariners team before this sweep of Detroit.
Just that, I feel like that was a message kind of right when we started the series that, the series in New York is over. We have a new series, it's a new game, and just attack it like that. And that's what we did as a team. And, when we all do that, like, we're a really good baseball team too.
Yeah, Julio, I think, gives a lot of optimism for this fan base if he can do something like that, where 3 home runs in a series, all single game. Not just that he had, one big game of, he had 2 this day, and then he had 1, and then he struggled the rest of it. I think what was encouraging beyond that is the fact that, he had 6 hits. He had the most hits of anyone on this Mariners team when they had 40 hits as a team, and 5 of those 6 were extra base hits. So not just home runs, but the doubles. And for Julio this year, the frustration, and I know you've talked about it with Dave and Bob when you come on Tuesdays here, just all this contact going into the ground. The ground ball rate's at another level for him. Some other metrics are down, and maybe that has been intentional of, hey, his whiff rate is down, his strikeout rate is the lowest it's been, but that has been a sacrifice of power. So now to see this, it almost feels like he's finally found whatever he's been working on, and now we're seeing the manifestation of all of that coming through in a series like he had.
For sure. And Julio's talent is going to be, the ceiling's so high. So, in past, we've seen him go on these runs where it looks like the best player in the league. He really does. Like he's doing everything and playing so well, and the game looks very easy to him. And then there are times where you look on the other side of the spectrum and you go, man, this talent, he looks lost out there. He doesn't look like he has figured out, how to handle any sort of adjustments that pitchers are making to him. So this is the time of year that I think is going to be exciting for all Mariner fans, because what we've seen out of Julio, yes, those 6 hits are great. Extra base hits are awesome. I mean, you're hitting in the 3-hole, so you expect to get some slugging out of that. So I anticipate that the rest of July and August are going to be like the best stretch of the season for Julio. He's done it in the past, and I think with the warmer weather, with finally just understanding, kind of how to work at bats a little bit more, right? I mean, you kind of have to go through the experience of how you're going to approach each pitcher, each at bat, what's going on, what you're seeing, any adjustments you're making on the fly. So now that he's kind of done this, and he's still so young, there's so much information he's learned at this point. I just foresee Julio going on a big run where it actually vaults the team into another level, because I'm sure you feel the same way, man. It's like this team is way closer than they are further behind, right? It's not like they're like, oh my God, they're sitting in dead last. No, we're still looking at a team that's in second place in the West. I guess for 5-6 games.
5 games back.
Over 500 though too as well. So it's like they're looking pretty good. So it's just a matter of getting these guys to kind of go on a little run here. And I just continue to point to the offense, because the pitching has honestly been really good, and they've dealt with a lot of adversity, but they've done a really good job up until this point. So, if there's a way to get some more runs for the boys, I think it's going to be good.
Yeah, they had plenty of them over the weekend, and if you missed it, here was Julio's 3rd home run of the weekend, his home run to start the scoring, his home run early on in the game yesterday against the Tigers.
Here's the 1-2. Swung on, that is ripped to right field. Verling back, he's looking up, and it is in the seats. It is gone. Home run, Julio. He has homered in 3 straight games, a missile the other way. Over the right field wall, and Julio is surging. He has cut the lead in half. It's Tigers 2, Mariners 1.
Sounds like some boos in there, too, which is great, right? As a visiting player, that means you're doing something well enough to get the crowd angry at you. I mean, I couldn't believe people were booing Cal, but they had the audacity to do that in New York. Shouldn't be surprised. But yes, if Julio's getting back to the level where he's becoming such a nuisance that he's getting booed in visiting ballparks, that's a great sign for the Mariners. And it does put that other power threat right around Cal. So you have bats in front of him and a bat behind him in a Rosarena.
Yeah, and I think that if Julio becomes that player, you can't not pitch to Cal.
Right.
And then Cal has to get more looks, and now you're looking at 60 home runs. Like I just the way that goes, right? What he's done this point up until this point is insane, right? 1 homer short than Barry Bonds, and a juiced out Barry Bonds. Come on, right? This is insane what he's doing. So if there was a way to see an increased production and really like some damage driven at bats that Julio can create for the team, it just forces other teams to not avoid Cal and then go, okay, now we got to face him. I mean, the only way that you do this is if he just hits doubles and first base is open all the time. But I would say these players are so good, and if you could get this like 1-2 punch where it becomes such a threat to face the 3-4 hole, and then there's no joke on the 5th, facing Randy as well, it creates really a tough spot in the lineup where you go, okay, this is going to be hard to kind of get through this as a pitching staff without giving up some runs.
Mike Lefko and Charlie Furbush here with you today, and for Dave and Bob. We're here because it's the All-Star break, so we have a lot of Mariners to talk about over this. Not really even a week. I mean, you have 4 days until the game against the Astros, and that series kicks off the second part of the season. So for this break, yes, it's the longest stretch of time in a season that players are going to go without playing, but does it really impact guys or as a player? So this is why I'm glad you're here today, Charlie. I said, we need Furbush in here because he'll know about the All-Star break. He played. He went through it. How much of an impact does it really have to have this stretch for guys? Is it overblown, or is it actually truly important before you gear up for that second half?
It's truly important. I mean, you have to kind of accept the fact that you're playing so much and traveling so much, and this stretches back to, I would say probably March 1st, right? I mean, the first couple of weeks of spring training aren't necessarily the most taxing and whatnot, but once the games get going, you're right in it, and it's a crazy thing to play that many games in that many days.
It really is.
You know what I mean? And then you finally get the break, and you're like, oh, I think that's the one thing that I always appreciated is that you got more than a day off, right? Like, okay, it's great that you have one day off, right? And that's awesome. I got a Monday, I can get an appointment done, I can sleep in, do whatever, go out to dinner that night, maybe, I don't know. But hardly ever do you get a second day off, right? So you're like, oh man, what am I going to do with myself? So that's where it is, very crucial on two fronts. The first front is the physical aspect, right? I mean, there's a physical toll that it takes to play baseball, and you got to go through it, and there's going to be shoulders that are sore and other parts of your body that are just banged up. So being able to not do anything and take a break is super helpful. But then you also have the mental recovery, and this is the thing that I know that Dave and I had talked about briefly, is like when you're playing baseball and you're traveling and you're all these games are just the most important thing, it's really hard to kind of mentally recover from some of these games, right? Because you put all of it in it, and some of these games are quite emotional in terms of either wins or losses, right? I mean, you can kind of go both ways of games that didn't work out that you ended up winning and vice versa. So to be able to just take a break from that and just get away, it's actually really, really helpful for most people. I would say the only time that it wasn't helpful for some guys were some of the pitchers that like to continue to throw. So to stay on like a routine, like, okay, I'm actually going to, go play catch here today just so I can keep my arm in rhythm, because when you're a professional thrower, pitcher, you end up kind of becoming conditioned to what you're feeling like and the rigors and how your body reacts to it. And then when you take some time off, that first time you throw again, even though you're healthy, just feels like, oh, I got to get the rust out again. Like I got to start up the engine. It maybe takes a few throws to kind of reactivate everything. So if you can kind of avoid that, some players would want to continue to throw. But this break is vitally important, just because you play so many games in so many days.
Well, how would you then get back into game mode? Because it sounds like you would decompress and relax and kind of go full sloth couch potato. But then how do you ratchet it back up so all of a sudden, all right, Friday, when you kind of whiplash right back into it, it isn't that slow slog back into the season? I
mean, I was more, I was probably on the couch because I was crying because I didn't make the All-Star team, right? That's really what it was. How dare they not vote me in, right? Come on. Because it's really only the All-Star game is only they're only judging you on the first half, right? It's not like it's the full season. So I'd love to see.
You're proud to be a second half All-Star.
Well, I'd love to see like a second All-Star team, right? This is the representative of the full season, where it's only the first 80, 90 games. So it's like, okay, that's great that you had a great first half, but there are plenty of players that we've seen and they have a terrible second half after a great first half. So does that mean they're still an All-Star? I don't know. Or does somebody that had like a slower start to the first half?
So it sounds like you're bitter. I'm sorry I brought this up.
No, I'm not bitter. I'm just like, I've always been curious about why they wouldn't like add an additional roster. Maybe not an additional game, but just like announce like, hey, we're going to acknowledge the people that had great seasons, even if they weren't All-Stars. Bad idea? Is that
You took my question a completely different way. But yeah, it's interesting. I mean, they wouldn't have a game. That's the thing. I think they have the all MLB team honors now. So maybe they heard your complaints.
Maybe.
And they said, you know what? Because Charlie is just sad.
This isn't just for me.
He's bitter about this.
All the other guys.
So that's the thing that people talk about.
Well, I wouldn't say they talk about it, but it's just like the All-Star game doesn't represent the full season. So it's like, how like the Pro Bowl, it's the full season. Okay, how did they do over the full season? They don't go, how did you do over the first 8 games?
Well, that's interesting. We'll talk about that more at 2:45, because there is this question and kind of, it's more of a fan worry than anything else about like a Cal Raleigh or players playing in the All-Star game and the Home Run Derby and not resting like they should. So we'll talk about that at 2:45, and I'll get back to my actual question about how do you avoid a slow start to the second half, because the Mariners have actually had some slow starts coming out of the All-Star break the last few seasons. But right now, let's take 2. Well, the MLB draft is finishing up today. It's currently in the 14th round. It's now just 2 days. They're going to go to round 20. So as this wraps up, we'll give you the update on the Mariners' full draft class. We might hear from Kade Anderson's college coach, Jay Johnson, but some draft notables from yesterday. So Mount Vernon High School shortstop Xavier Nyans, who Dave Wyman has some connection to. He really was high on him. He wanted him to go to the Mariners because he had some connection there. But he was drafted by the Astros, 21st overall, the Astros. And then, he said a comment that anyone would because you're excited to be on the team that drafted you. But they asked him what he knew about Houston. And he said, I'm kind of paraphrasing, well, I grew up as a Mariners fan and they would always just dominate them and run the AL West. So that got a lot of attention. But yeah, Xavier Nyans out of Mount Vernon goes to the Astros. And the Marlins pick shortstop Iva Arquette, who started his career at UW, finished at Oregon State. How about this, Charlie? 6 shortstops taken in the top 10, along with 15 of the first 32 picks were shortstops.
Not surprised. Usually the shortstop's the best player in your team.
That's a loaded class, though, right? I mean, and I know a lot will probably move off there. It's not like they're all going to play shortstop because you can move them to second, like we saw with Cole Young. You can move them over to third, but I think that just kind of stands out, right? Where you really see a run on pitchers in most drafts. Now this is just, hey, shortstop heavy.
That's how it goes sometimes, right? I mean, you run into some talented younger athletes at that position, and you realize that you can see the projection, and you go, okay, he's going to grow into his body. This kid's 18, and he's already 6'4". He's going to throw on another 20, 30 pounds. We can see him hitting 30 home runs, all that type of stuff. So I think, when you look at the shortstop position, it just offers a bunch of versatility because a lot of shortstops are the most athletic players on your team, which allows you to kind of bounce around and play different positions if you need to.
Well, lineups for the All-Star Game are out. It's tomorrow at 5 o'clock. You can also hear that on Seattle Sports, along with the Home Run Derby airing tonight on Seattle Sports right here at 5 o'clock. But Cal Raleigh will bat cleanup for the American League behind Aaron Judge and in front of Vlad Guerrero Jr. And they will go up against, of course, NL starter Paul Skeens, another LSU guy since Charlie's rocking the LSU alumni polo.
Where's your alumni polo? Come on.
My school does not have baseball. That's my excuse.
Okay, you're undefeated.
No baseball at Syracuse University, so I have no polo to rock.
Fair enough.
But
Fair enough.
That's why I'm going to Sonics because they could be back in due time.
They should be back.
Well, expansion talks perhaps on the horizon tomorrow. That is, Board of Governors are happening there. I like how you've strayed me away from kind of these things. We're getting everywhere there. But, what does that say? What do you think about that? We know Cal Raleigh has gotten so much attention this season, but there he is, slotted in that cleanup spot, one of the premier spots in the lineup and right behind Aaron Judge.
I mean, with a guy with the name Big Dumper, he should absolutely be in the cleanup spot, right? I mean, come on.
Which,
it's
ironically,
like
he's not for the Mariners. But, we know that 3 spot's important. It comes up more often, so I get why they do that now.
Yeah, I know.
It's a good thing for him. And some other news with Cal Raleigh. He announced earlier today that he's going to play for Team USA in the World Baseball Classic. That's important to a guy, Ryan Rowland-Smith, who we'll have on at 3 o'clock. Big fan of the WBC. It's very cool, though, that now Cal Raleigh, there have been plenty of jokes about, all right, it's America's dumper now, or, the United States of Big Dumper, all those things. But very cool for Cal Raleigh, and I think this is going to be a big week for his national profile. Let's think of them. I mean, we did that. What did we do one time you were here? We had solicited some name recommendations. We can throw it out to the text line.
I think it was my nickname.
It was your nickname, right? Okay,
right.
But 866-979-3776. So Cal Raleigh is catching for Team USA now in the World Baseball Classic. What should we call the United States of Dumper? Or what's the good nickname now for Cal Raleigh on Team USA? Think of that as we hit the break here. Take 2 brought to you by Swedish Cyberknife. Treat prostate cancer with Swedish Cyberknife. Swedish.org/cyberknife prostate. Well, Charlie is rocking the LSU alumni polo because the Mariners made a huge selection, one of the best picks of the draft, and perhaps a steal. We'll dive into everything that you can expect out of Kade Anderson when we come back here on Wyman and Bob. Mike Lefko and Charlie Furbush with you here on Seattle Sports and the Seattle Sports app.
The All-Star Fantastic Four. It's now the Mariners Fantastic Five.
Welcome to Randyland.
As Randy El Rosarena joins Andres, Brian, Julio, and Cal.
Holy smokes.
In the 2025 Midsummer Classic. Tomorrow afternoon at 5 from Truist Park in Atlanta. On the home of the Mariners. Seattle Sports on 710 and the Seattle Sports app.
Are you trying to buy a new home, or are you a local real estate agent seeking financing for a client? We're all tired of dealing with banks, credit unions, and endless guidelines. Wouldn't it be nice to go back in time when we had common sense lending? Hi, I'm Scott Rureka, CEO of Legacy Group Capital based in Bellevue. We are one of the largest local private portfolio lenders in Washington. We've helped thousands of home buyers and real estate investors reach their financial goals by leveraging the Legacy Common Sense borrowing platform. What that means is we lend our own money, we make our own decisions. If your deal makes sense, we'll get it done. Whether you're purchasing a new piece of real estate or refinancing an existing loan, bridge loans, construction, or regular home loan, it doesn't have to be as difficult as banks and lenders make it. If you're trying to grow wealth through real estate acquisition, come talk to the experts in private lending.
Call 425-635-4700 or LegacyG.com. Legacy Group Capital, your common sense lender. LegacyG.com.
Walking away from an interaction with a customer that says, I can't believe how easy this was. I can't thank you enough for helping me.
Our strategy with pricing is not to be the highest price and not to be the lowest price, but to be a really good price and to provide a really good experience to the customer.
Yeah, I have a ton of really memorable customers. Afterwards, to thank us, he sent us this beautiful basket of like candies and fruits and stuff. It was just really sweet. It felt like we were truly helping.
Receiving a handwritten letter that's personalized to a salesperson or service advisor or a technician expressing gratitude, and then taking that home and sharing that with your family and hanging that on your refrigerator, that's the difference.
You hear it from one person, and then another, and another. You come to realize it's not a script, it's a belief. The LJ Way is the Lee Johnson Auto family.
It is that time of year. I cannot wait for the weather to get warm like it is now on consecutive days. That means I can break the motorcycle out, ride to work, ride all over the place, and I love it more than just about anything. But I also know that it's not a matter of if, but when you get in an accident, what are you going to do? Well, I'll tell you, when you're injured in a motorcycle crash, don't settle for firms that say they're motorcycle lawyers. Trust the ones who live it. Law Tigers has been a part of the writing community for nearly 25 years nationwide. They are here 24/7, 365 days a year because writers deserve real support when they need it. Law Tigers is the resource writers can turn to when they are in need. Law Tigers is out at all the events and supporting all clubs and shops. The Law Tigers are always by your side. Your case evaluation is always free. There are no fees until your case settles. The Law Tigers, you never ride alone. Law Tigers, Washington's motorcycle lawyers. Jimmy Cook, 539 Broadway, Unit 104, Tacoma, Washington, 98402.
Pacific Power Batteries has been our family-owned and operated business since 1985 when my dad and I started selling batteries business to business to commercial fleets from a 1-ton panel van. Yep, delivering batteries. Since then, with our community's support, we've been able to sell online and open more retail stores selling batteries of all kinds. Today, my wife and son are directly involved in the business. At Pacific Power Batteries, we are proud to serve you, your folks, and your grandparents with batteries for darn near anything. So I want to say thank you for your business.
The home of the Mariners.
One hopper snared at short. On a quick hop by J.P. Crawford. That guy's a magician over there at shortstop.
Seattle Sports.
Download the Seattle Sports app.
Hi, Zoe Saldana. Welcome to T-Mobile. Here's your new iPhone 16 Pro on us.
Thanks. And here's my old phone to trade in.
You don't need a trade-in. When you switch to T-Mobile, we'll give you a new iPhone 16 Pro. Plus, we'll help you pay off your old phone up to $800, and you still get to keep it.
There's always a trade-in.
Not right now at T-Mobile.
I feel like I have to give you something in return for karma.
That's okay.
I don't really have much in my purse. Oh, let's see. Hand sanitizer. It's lavender.
I'm good. Seriously.
Let me check this pocket. Oh, mints?
Really, I'm fine.
Oh, I have raisins. I'm a mom. Wait 1 sec. I've got cupcakes in the car.
It's our best iPhone offer ever. Switch to T-Mobile. Get a new iPhone 16 Pro with Apple Intelligence on us. No trade-in needed. We'll even pay off your phone up to $800.
With 24 monthly bill credits, new line, $100 plus a month on experience beyond finance agreement, $999.99 and qualifying forwarded. For well qualified plus tax and $10 connection charge. Pay off via virtual prepaid card below 15 days. Credits end and balance due if you pay off early or cancel. See T-Mobile.com.
Crank up the hits and bring on the boom. It's 80s fireworks night at T-Mobile Park. Get ready for a totally tubular show this Friday, presented by T-Mobile. The Mariners face off against the division rival Astros at 7:10. And after the game, the sky will light up to the sound of your favorite 80s jams. Big hits on the field and more big hits after dark.
Grand slam! Julio takes it deep and clears it off.
Mariners Mariners baseball, fireworks, and hair metal? Sounds like a rad night. Lock in your seats now at Mariners.com and check out what else is on deck at the ballpark this summer, including 3 straight value games against the Brewers, July 21st through 23rd, and the next Mariners fireworks show on August 1st.
Goodbye, baseball. He does it again. Home runs in 3 consecutive games. Cal Raleigh, the big dumper.
Mariners baseball. Tridents up.
This hour is brought to you by Legacy Group Capital Common Sense Lending.
Wyman and Bob.
From the Quantum Fiber Studio.
Weekdays 2 to 7.
On Seattle Sports and 97.3 FM HD2.
The texters have come through, Charlie. The texters have come through. We solicited your advice. We needed recommendations. So right before the break, we threw out there that Cal Raleigh is playing for Team USA in the 2026 WBC, the World Baseball Classic. Big deal. Everyone kind of watched that Ohtani Trout showdown that ended the 2023 one. It was a lot of fun. So we threw it out there. All right, what's a great nickname for Cal now that he's representing America? He's already the big dumper, but do you need something more majestic, more nation building as now the face and the backside of an entire country? So we got some good ones. And, it's Dave Wyman who thinks the texters are dumb, even though it gets thrown on me. So that's Dave Wyman, D-A-V-E-W-I-M-A-N. Wyman, who thinks you texters are dumb. Remember that for Friday. But we got things like the big American dumper from Willem in Maple Valley. 509 says all-American dumper. 206, how about this one? America runs on dumpin'.
That's pretty good.
It's a play on Dunkin' Donuts.
Of course.
Which I feel like we have to explain because there are none within like thousands of miles here.
Right there, I know.
That's you. That's your Northeast thing. You know what? I was in the Midwest over the weekend. The best part was in the airports, just Dunkin's extraordinaire. So I always have to make a stop on the way back because you're going to be without Dunkin' any point here. There's no Dunkin' for miles, which it's very unhealthy coffee. That's why I like it so much. But that's a good one. I think we both appreciated that one. 360 says that is America's dumper. And then you just have the simple and always good Captain America, which I think has probably been taken by other people. But all right, keep them coming.
We can get more clever. Let's get more clever.
Big dumper recommendations. I came up with in my mind, I put it out there, the United States of dumper. So that's mine. That's my favorite now. Do you have one yet?
Well, I mean, you're going to leave America out?
Yeah.
Not United States of America's dumper?
No. Yeah, sure.
No?
All right, we'll see. We'll workshop that. While you guys do that, and we think of a good one, we're going to talk Kade Anderson and the fact that this guy comes out of LSU, a lefty pitcher. And I think what's tough about the baseball draft, we talk about this with baseball and with hockey and with sports, that there's no immediacy. There's no payoff where you see the guy drafted, then you see him on your team. And so they just kind of fall away into anonymity. And then maybe 2 or 3 years later, they come up through the ranks and all of a sudden the casual fan says, oh, okay, there's that guy. Yes, we can see him again. But in the case of Anderson, I feel like most of the country heard about him because of his exploits in the College World Series. The fact that he throws 130 pitches, throws that complete game shutout in Game 1, the College World Series championship. And so you have that at the forefront. And the fact that the Mariners got a guy like this, a left-handed starter who is very pro-ready, very polished already, that's exciting. It's going to be an expedited timeline. Now, one note here, the Mariners and VP of Amateur Scouting, Scott Hunter, did mention that he will not pitch at all this summer. I think Scott Hunter said he's not touching a baseball because he threw 119 innings over this past season. But when you look at the Kade Anderson profile, what jumps out to you about him?
A lot of things. And that's also great news that, having him not throw.
Yeah.
That's a huge thing. I only say that because I actually wish I had that luxury because I ended up throwing 100 and, between college and the pro ranks, 170 innings or something.
Oh,
my first
you
year.
went right
and
into
then
it.
Ended up having Tommy John that fall. So it's like, all right, that's as someone in Kade Anderson who had Tommy John in high school, this is obviously something that they see. Okay, all right, you already were hurt once, and now you've recovered and pitched a fantastic game. Obviously, like you mentioned in the College World Series, but he's got a plus fastball. He's going to be sitting at your 95, running it up to 97, 98. And the breaking ball, the curveballs, I guess their sweeper or whatever, their slider sweeper they're calling it, is kind of this like wipeout pitch that is allowing him to strike out so many guys. So between those two, That's kind of been his bread and butter, but I think the underrated pitch that you actually see him flash more is this changeup. And as a starter, that's going to be such an effective pitch for him moving forward, having to face so many right-handed hitters. So, throwing a pitch that can end up down and away to mix in with that fastball and that slider are just going to be super effective. And like you said, he's a college guy. He's pitched at the highest ranks in college. He should move his way up pretty quick through the system. You'd probably see his debut in February in a spring training game, maybe get an inning or two. And, he's an interesting guy because you mentioned all the things he's done and where he's at. You wonder what moves are made throughout the rest of the year for the Mariners and then going into the offseason. Am I crazy to say, can he crack the rotation out of spring training? Like, is this a
After
guy
having not pitched at all?
Yeah. Like, or is it, it's probably an unlikely. But there's times where a guy comes up and he's so ready that boom, you're on the team. I remember a guy that was former Mariner, Mike Leake, didn't play any minor league baseball. Right, got drafted, boom, right to the big leagues. Went to spring training and dominated. And we're like, okay, you're in the rotation because you're that good.
Yeah.
So there may be a scenario that he comes in and he dominates and he pitches like a Skeens, he pitches like a Steven Strasburg, and you go, okay. From the left side, the Mariners need a left-handed pitcher in the rotation. Yeah, we're gonna expedite this. And a lot of times teams are looking at guys in their earlier 20s to get the best out of them than the late 20s, early 30s. There's a lot of wear and tear throwing on your arm. So if we got him now, bring him up, try and get 4, 5, 6, 7 years out of him before you decide what you want to do with him. But he's the type of player that I think can be that upper echelon rotation guy.
Well, it's very interesting that you kind of put that timeline as maybe even at the start of next season, because Scott Hunter was asked on the post-draft call after they selected Kade Anderson how close he is or what his level of MLB readiness is.
I think his stuff's there, but more importantly, his command and his control. Just being able to watch him in the College World Series at the end, I was actually on a flight coming back from the Combine. I think that was a moment for us that said, man, even when he doesn't have his best stuff, he can find a way to get you, because the first inning or two didn't really go the way he wanted. And then you look up, he's in the 9th inning winning. And when I met with him and Andy met with him on separate occasions, that was the biggest thing for him, understanding that his job is to take the ball and pitch as long as he can. To hear things like that reminds you of some of the guys that we have in our clubhouse already about what it means to them to take them out and what it means to them to their teammates.
Well, that seems like the perfect combination of Anderson being close to MLB ready, going to an organization that has such a strong track record of developing pitchers, especially college pitchers, where 4 of these 5 starters are college pitchers and not guys who were, overwhelmingly the best in the country because they got them from later rounds or they got them in the back half of the first round. But here you have a guy who is thought as a potential number 1 overall pick, and you have him to tinker with. Can't even imagine what the pitching lab of the Mariners is thinking right now when they get their hands on this guy, can really start to work with Anderson.
Yeah, they're so excited to get this guy under their wing and really kind of build him up and teach him the Mariner way. And the Mariner way is going to be a really, really effective pitching route for him. So it also adds a ton of depth in your organization, right? I mean, having a guy like Anderson that you can slot in, obviously I was aggressive in saying next year, but it's not completely unheard of. So let's say even if he spends a year in the minor leagues, just, getting used to the pro life, and then he's, come 2027, he's on the team. That's not unheard of. And in terms of the rotation depth that they've created, that just shows you that you have a guy that can be an ace. So if anything were to happen to the current set of guys, then you have a guy in the making that can fill that spot. So it was honestly such a, like you mentioned, a steal of the draft. It really kind of was. And it's kind of shocking to see what the Nationals and Angels did, because when you look at him, where he's at from a pitching profile standpoint, you heard Hunter say how close he is and how great he commands the ball. It would have really felt like you missed it if you didn't take him, right? I mean, so the fact that he was available, it was kind of a no-brainer. I wouldn't be surprised if they had thought he wasn't going to be available. So as soon as he became available and and the Angels said we're going in a completely different direction, as we always do. Well, we're going to take Anderson. So, yeah, it's an exciting time for the Mariners, and it just continues to show that they draft and develop super well.
Well, that's the future, but the immediacy is tonight. In a couple hours, actually, Cal Raleigh is going to take his part in the Home Run Derby and realize a lifelong dream. We'll talk about that. And one important change that actually could swing how this home run derby plays out. So the home run derby is a little bit different this year. We'll break down everything you need to know about that. Coming up next here on Wyman and Bob on Seattle Sports and the Seattle Sports app.
The season of Cal continues.
And the next offer on the way to Cal, swinging a drive, deep to right field.
Big dumper is in the Derby.
Goodbye, baseball.
Like, what if Cal was doing this for the Yankees and Judge was doing this for the Mariners? Who's the MVP then?
Hear Cal Raleigh in the Home Run Derby today at 5. Live from Truist Park in Atlanta. Only on the home of the Mariners. Seattle Sports on 710 and the Seattle Sports app.
Are you in pain, or maybe you've considered surgery or even joint replacement? Hey, it's Bob Stelton here. And before you make that decision, I've got a recommendation for you. Go see Dr. Mark Wagner, MD, at Seattle Sports and Regenerative Medicine. Now, I did, and it's been an absolute game changer. I had a lot of trauma to my hip from 13 years of jiu-jitsu. So I had a torn labrum, a frayed tendon, some arthritis developing, all kinds of things. And I had heard so many patients rave about the results from their 90-minute outpatient stem cell procedure with Dr. Wagner. So I went and checked it out. And Dr. Wagner is a board-certified Seattle physician with over 30 years of experience performing more than 20,000 stem cell procedures using a person's own stem cells to regenerate cartilage in their own joints. People with severe osteoarthritis, even bone-on-bone, are back to doing what they enjoy doing without pain and without surgery. So whether it's a hip like I had, a shoulder, elbow, ankle, wrist, knee, whatever it is, before choosing surgery, do what I did. See Dr. Mark Wagner first. Go to drmarkwagnermd.com.
Eric Johnson here. I spent the past 30 years working to help make our community better informed, better protected when it comes to consumer issues, and better equipped to take on whatever life throws at us. That's why I love the free Washington Accident book series from Davis Law Group. These books keep us better informed about the law, better able to protect ourselves on and off the road, and better off when all is said and done after an accident. Chris Davis didn't have to write these books. He did it because he saw a need. People who were in accidents or other legal situations didn't know what to do, what pictures to take, documents to request. Only a tiny fraction of the people who get these free books will ever become clients of Davis Law Group, but that's not the point. Chris wrote them because it was the right thing to do. The free Washington Accident book series is a must-have for drivers who want to be prepared for whatever the road might throw at them. Get yours at WashingtonAccidentBooks.com.
If you've been in a wreck or a fender bender,
you have the right to take your vehicle to any repair facility, not just where your insurance company tells you to go. Accurate Auto Body has been family owned and operated since 1994, and they work for you, not your insurance company. With over 25 years of auto repair work, they'll exceed your expectations.
we meet by accident, fixing every last dent. Accurate Auto Body.
At Accurate Auto Body, all their work is performed by certified technicians, only using OEM parts to guarantee the safety of you and your family. For the best in auto body collision repair and customer service, give them a call at 425-883-2450 or AccurateAutoBodyWA.com. Your insurance company may not love them, but you will, because
we meet by accident, fixing every last dent. Accurate Auto Body.
Why is Mazda of Everett the #1 dealer on the West Coast? Mazda of Everett is locally owned and operated for 20 years. They work hard to get you their best deal every time and to make sure you drive away happy. With over 700 new Mazdas, they stock more than anyone in the Seattle area. Find out for yourself why people keep coming back to Mazda of Everett. Take advantage of the Mazda of Everett price during the More to Move You sales event. MazdaofEverett.com. Claims based on Mazda USA inventory and sales reports.
The home of the Mariners.
It is gone! Cal Raleigh, 2-run home run!
Hear every pitch on 710 and the Seattle Sports app.
Hey everybody, it's Bob Stelton here. Let me tell you about one of the best decisions I've ever made in my life. That's when I went to K2 Vision for refractive lens exchange. Now, if you're somebody like me who struggled with distance vision, maybe you always need a pair of reading glasses, K2 Vision RLE could be your perfect permanent solution like it was for me. And here's the cherry on top. You'll never develop a cataract. K2 Vision RLE is quick, painless, and I am seeing great now without glasses or readers. I can actually read restaurant menus. I can read the receipts when they show up. I can read text on my phone. It's amazing. RLE is an absolute game changer. I'm so excited to spend my good active years not needing reading glasses. K2 Vision RLE gave me great vision that's permanent. The doctors at K2 Vision have performed over 150,000 lens procedures, so they know when RLE is right for you. Schedule your free Zoom consultation today at K2VisionRLE.com. K2 Vision RLE, no readers, glasses, contacts, or cataracts. K2VisionRLE.com.
Guys, did you know your testosterone affects everything in your system, including how you feel and perform every day? Right now, Revive Men's Health Seattle will check your testosterone for free. Knowing your T levels is the first step in understanding if you have low T. Your testosterone level impacts your energy, libido, sleep, weight, hair loss, mood, and even ED. Maintaining an appropriate T level can change your whole life. Most men start to see changes in their hormone levels in their 30s. Experience and results matter. So what are you waiting for? Get your T levels checked today by local, experienced, and trusted men's health experts. They've helped thousands of men since 2011. They're so confident they can help you, they even guarantee it. Call Revive today and schedule your free testosterone test, free exam, and free consultation. Call Revive Men's Health at 206-529-1111. That's 206-529-1111. Or visit ReviveMen'sHealth.com.
Wyman and Bob.
From the Quantum Fiber Studio.
Weekdays 2 to 7.
On Seattle Sports and 97.3 FM HD2.
Well, Charlie, we've taken you fully down the rabbit hole. We kind of threw out there, just kind of offhand, hey, give us some good recommendations for nicknames for Cal Raleigh, because he is a man of the people now. He's the man of America. He's playing in the 2026 World Baseball Classic. He just announced that earlier today. We have plenty of great texts. I know you have come up with a ton that you want to get to. I feel like I have to give to the people. I'll read some more of their good ones. I'll turn it over to you. And at some point, we'll talk about Cal Raleigh and the Home Run Derby. But this has been fun. We've gotten a lot of great recommendations.
More important stuff right now.
More important stuff. Like 509, Cal Raleigh with his Dumper of Liberty. 509, Old Dumper Glory. 206 says Cal Raleigh, the man, the myth, the dumper. It's good. We're looking for kind of tying it into this country, like the overall America theme of it. Like this 206, E Pluribus Dumpin'. I like that one.
Clever.
Yeah.
Very clever.
206 again, America, the beautiful dumper. And then 425, American Dumpin' Jacks. All right, what do you have now?
Oh, man.
You have some good ones, right?
I mean, we have a few different ones that go in different directions. For America, I thought Mountain Dumpmore, right?
Okay.
As in Mount Rushmore. That was pretty good. What else do we have? We had the red, white, and rump, right? I mean, that's not bad. Not great, you know?
The red, white, and rump. Okay.
Captain Dump America.
Okay.
You know, kind of a little bit play on that. What else did we have? Major League Dumpage.
Yeah, but you're not getting the America there.
That's
either.
true.
Okay.
Ooh,
Come back with some better
The
ones,
National
Charlie.
Backside.
That one's good, actually. That one's actually
That's
kind
like
of
appropriate.
Yeah, it's to the point. It's subtle. It almost sounds like a magazine publication. Or like
I'm glad that's what you think.
Yeah.
The National Backside.
Like it's a National
magazine.
Enquirer kind of thing, yeah.
Okay.
You know, like a gossip magazine.
Okay.
All right.
I'm sure the texters are going to think that it maybe isn't a gossip magazine.
No, I know. So those you can continue to chime in with your Cal Raleigh America's Catcher recommendations, but you know he's going to be on center stage tonight. You know, he's in the Home Run Derby. He has the most home runs of anyone in baseball going into the break, so he's kind of at the forefront of this. It's Cal Raleigh in the Home Run Derby for the first time, realizing a childhood dream, as we saw that video that came out that Daniel Kramer posted, courtesy of his dad, of Cal Raleigh at 7 or 8 years old, saying he wants to win the Home Run Derby. So this is a very special moment for him. Now there's a faction of fans who are not in favor of Cal Raleigh doing the Home Run Derby. There's that worry that I think it has been kind of put aside as a myth that it ruins your swing, that it might mess you up for the second half of the season, but there are some that feel, okay, this could screw him up. Maybe he should be resting because he catches almost every game. Now he's going to go through 2 more days instead of that all-star break like you were talking about. So how do you feel about Cal Raleigh doing the Home Run Derby and kind of being the face of these all-star festivities?
I feel great about it, and I think everyone else should as well. This is
Yeah,
this is
good.
Yes.
I do too. I agree with you.
Right?
Yeah.
Thank you. I mean, honestly, this is a monumental, legendary year in the making for Cal, right? Oh, no, I'm going to not do the home run derby the first time that I've ever been asked. I'm going to say no. Like, come on, right? I mean, that's a no-brainer. I think, when you look at the home run derby specifically, I remember saying this last couple of years with Julio too, is that ever since they did the format change, instead of getting 10 outs, now it's on a time, it's become kind of a stamina competition, right? Like, how long can you, hit homers over this course of time, as opposed to just like waiting and trying to hit homers until you saw a good pitch. It's the fear is like, okay, you saw today on Foul Territory, one of the podcasts with some of the AJ Brzezinski, Eric Kratz, Todd Frazier was on, and he was in the home run derby and was asked, hey, is the home run derby more taxing than playing a regular game? And he was like, no, absolutely. It's like 20 times more taxing. And just to hear how intense it can feel and how you're going to be worn out after it, and then obviously having to play in the All-Star game the next night, yeah, there's this fear that, he doesn't have any downtime to recover and get back, to what he's been doing, so maybe he should stay away from the whole thing. And it's like, it's a very, I think it's just kind of a disrespectful way of looking at it, especially based on what Cal's done. It's like, no, let Cal, earn all this accolades and continue to put the Mariners' name on the national map. Is like, yes, obviously the Mariners want to be in the World Series, and a guy like Cal starting in the All-Star game, hitting all these homers, just continues to, put our team on the map and showcase that the Mariners are here and they mean business. So it's going to be so fun to see Cal hit so many home runs tonight. How many, like I think I said before, I guess I'll say it now. It's like, how many dumps is he going to hit tonight? Is that appropriate to say?
Is that how you're going to refer to them?
I don't know. You don't hit dumps. That doesn't make any sense. Right?
Oh, brainstorm that.
I guess
then.
you
think of that.
dumps.
You got a lot to think about during these breaks.
I know.
There is a slightly different format that might help a little bit. So just some tinkering. It's not a radical overhaul, but this year, instead of head-to-head every round, so there are 8, half the field advances after round 1. So it's just the 4 highest totals advance to the semifinals. Then it's head-to-head. Whoever hit the most is against the 4 seed, 3 versus 2, and then obviously head-to-head in the championship. So there's that. And then there's also a maximum of pitches, which I don't know if I like, but it's only pitches during the time format. So during the first round, you have 3 minutes or 40 pitches. So there is a maximum that you might throw. Now, that bonus portion still exists. If you hit the 425-foot home run, you get bonus time, and the bonus time is in the form of the traditional outs. So they've kind of combined a bunch of different formats. It seems like it's going to be kind of confusing at first. They're going to have to explain what's going on. I wish they would just go to one form or the other. I do like that it's not head-to-head for 3 rounds, because you have that issue of like Julio hitting 41, and sure, he won that round. Then he had to go head-to-head again, and he was tired, and he lost the next round, so it kind of penalizes a guy who was a powerful first round. But we'll see how it goes. And then in the semis and finals, 27 pitches maximum, and just 2 minutes, and then you still have that same bonus time. So, hey, something to watch for as Cal Raleigh drops some, I don't know, think of a radio-appropriate word to say for that. We can ask Ryan Rowland-Smith. So Ryan Rowland-Smith will join us next. We'll figure out a way to describe Cal Raleigh and America's Dumper, what he's doing in the Home Run Derby, and then get Ryan's thoughts on this Mariners first half of the season as well. All coming up here. Mike Lefko and Charlie Furbush with you here on Wyman and Bob on Seattle Sports and the Seattle Sports app.
The season of Cal continues.
And the next offer on the way to Cal, swinging a drive deep to right field.
Big Dumper is in the Derby.
Goodbye, baseball.
Like, what if Cal was doing this for the Yankees and Judge was doing this for the Mariners? Who's the MVP then?
Hear Cal Raleigh in the Home Run Derby today at 5. Live from Truist Park in Atlanta. Only on the home of the Mariners. Seattle Sports on 710 and the Seattle Sports app.
Dave Wyman here for Harley Exteriors. When you hear Harley Exteriors, I want you to think windows manufactured right here in Washington and specifically designed for our Pacific Northwest homes and climate. These are the windows you want. They look absolutely stunning, much better than a traditional vinyl window, and they're going to lower your energy bills and provide year-round comfort. They also come with a double lifetime, fully transferable warranty, meaning not only are you covered for glass breaking or damaged seals, it's going to help your resale and home value. These windows last up to 60 years. Harley Exteriors is making these windows affordable with options like 0 payments and 0 interest up to 12 months for qualified buyers. In July, Harley Exteriors is offering 50% off basic installation, no payments, no interest for 12 months, and an additional $200 off your project. Think Harley Exteriors for windows, doors, and more right here in the Puget Sound. Call 833-HARLEY or just go to harleyexteriors.com.
Hey friends, Stacy here. Wayscar Ford Isuzu in Auburn is celebrating its 100th year anniversary, and their biggest sales event of the year is going on right now. Take advantage of their great pricing on new Fords, Isuzus, and commercial vehicles. Also, large discounts on their service and parts departments. What about those of you who want to sell a car? Wayscar Ford's vehicle profit sharing plan is the best deal out there. They purchase your car and pay you right up front. Then, when Wayscar Ford resells your old car, they share 50% of their profit with you. They've already paid back over $800,000 to customers. At Wayscar Ford, there's absolutely no games, no gimmicks, and no pressure. That's backed up by a full 5-day or 500-mile no questions asked return policy on absolutely every vehicle they sell. Change your mind for any reason, bring the vehicle back for a full 100% refund. So if you're like me, you want a good price, a low-key, no-pressure experience, and a full 5-day, 100% satisfaction guarantee, Wayscar Ford is the place to go. Check them out for yourself at wayscarford.com. Wayscarford.com.
Are you frustrated with those trendy weight loss shots and not getting the long-term results you really want? This is Dr. Ryan Coogan with Eastside Weight Loss, and whether you've hit a plateau, can't handle the side effects, or watch the pounds creep back after stopping, there's a better way. Our program has helped over 4,000 people lose up to 10 to 20% of their body weight in just 8 weeks without expensive injections or uncomfortable side effects. Our doctor-developed program costs up to half as much and works up to twice as fast. Ready for real lasting results? Visit eastsideweightlossclinic.com now to schedule your free consultation.
Did he just say Eastside Weight Loss Clinic is half the cost and works twice as fast as weight loss injections? Well, if that's not reason enough, you don't risk the scary side effects or gaining the weight back as soon as you stop. Eastside Weight Loss Clinic is natural, and it works.
Many clients lose 20 to 30 pounds in a month or two, and you can do our program remotely from anywhere you live. Schedule your free consultation at eastsideweightlossclinic.com. That's eastsideweightlossclinic.com.
Dr. Ryan Coogan, D.C. Results may vary.
Free consultations, no fee guarantees, 5-star reviews. J.P. Pendergast with Pendergast Law explains the importance of going beyond these familiar offerings.
Accident victims want an attorney, Tom, that satisfies their needs. Someone who handles those needs with the highest degree of care. Pendergast Law offers the no-fee guarantees and free consultations, but these only scratch the surface.
Okay, explain more.
We make sure that every member of our team is genuinely passionate about helping others. Customer service and communication are our top priority. It's how we take care of our clients so they always feel one step ahead of the insurance companies. Our strong reputation for high standards provides comfort and confidence when it's needed most.
Pendergast Law offers the free consultations, the no-fee guarantees, and of course, they are 5-star rated. But what really makes them different is their genuine passion for helping others. I can't recommend them enough.
If you or a loved one has been injured in a car accident, call Pendergast Law. We can help.
That's PendergastLaw.com.
Hey, Brock Hewitt here from my friends at PCF Group, or People Come First Construction Group, and that's exactly what they did when we made the call a couple years ago. We wanted to redo our outdoor space, wanted to add a deck, an outdoor living, a television, and a kitchen, and PCF Group, wow, they more than delivered. And if you're interested in building a stunning outdoor area like we did, I cannot recommend them enough. Reach out before the good weather arrives, and their schedule, well, it's going to fill up. So whether you're looking for a complete outdoor living space or a very specific project like an underdeck ceiling, deck, patio cover, railings, PCF has you covered. Design now and pay later. In fact, get 12 months, no interest and no payments, and up to $6,000 off and a $1,000 Amazon gift card. Request a complimentary design and estimate consultation at 425-629-8476 or project ideas. Explore photos at pcfgroup.com. That's 425-629-8476.
The countdown is on.
9 days until Seahawks training camp.
On the home of the Seahawks, Seattle Sports. 710 KIRO AM Seattle and KIRO FM HD2 Tacoma. Seattle Sports Snapshot.
The Home Run Derby takes place in a matter of hours. You can hear it live on Seattle Sports beginning at 5 o'clock. Cal Raleigh will be in that, and he'll also be batting cleanup for the American League. In the All-Star Game, those lineups were announced earlier today, hitting right behind Aaron Judge and right in front of Vlad Guerrero Jr. Now, big news from Cal as well. He announced that he'll play for Team USA in the 2026 World Baseball Classic. And the NBA Board of Governors will meet tomorrow. It's where expansion may or may not come up, depending on what you want to believe from Adam Silver. But there is a meeting of the NBA Board of Governors. Expansion has been supposedly considered. We'll see what comes out of that when they meet tomorrow.
Snapshot, brought to you by Miller Lite. When it's game time, it's Miller time.
This hour of Wyman and Bob is brought to you by K2 Vision.
I actually talked about it on You Betcha on the podcast.
He is an unrivaled source of baseball knowledge.
Anyway, what were we talking about?
A guy who always has your back.
Pants back on, try and make the uniform look sweet in a split second. Come out, and I'm trying to open the door. I'm like, what the? And I said, listen, buddy, put your babysitting shoes on, because Dad's going out for Father's Day. You got to watch Top Gun. You guys don't listen when I speak. I'm talking to a brick wall right now.
Ryan Rowland-Smith, every week with Wyman and Bob.
That's the open right there.
Well, neither Dave nor Bob is here. So, Ryan, guess what? We will listen to you. I mean, we have Charlie here. We have me, Mike Lefko here. You know I always listen to you, Ryan. Ryan Rowland-Smith with us now on the Emerald Queen Casino Sportsbook Hotline. How's it going? How do you judge this Mariners team, Ryan, now that they're in the All-Star break and coming off a sweep of the Tigers?
First of all, going to that All-Star break, much easier having a couple days to take a breath if you're a player, and obviously as a team, but as a player, just individually coming off that sweep, man, because you come out of that trip from the East Coast playing in Yankee Stadium, the way that ended, especially that last game. Then you got to go play Detroit. Let's say you take one of three because you're facing a Tarek Skubal, and by the way, Casey Myers and a Flaherty in there, and you're thinking to yourself, okay, man, it's gonna be tough. And then you go out and sweep pretty much the best team in baseball in regards to records. So, you get back on that plane to fly back to Seattle or to the All-Star game or back home, wherever you're going, you're like, oh, man, okay, we're not too bad here. We're 5 games back, but we've got some good things happening. So that makes it way easier. And, Charlie knows this, man. Like, baseball's a team sport, yes, but it's the most individual team sport there is on the planet. So you've got to take care of yourself first, and then you worry about that team chemistry and everything that goes with it. And as an individual, there's a lot of good things happening. From the top all the way down that roster, I think for them to feel really good about having a good push in the second half.
Ryan, Charlie, how's it going, man?
I'm doing great, dude. I'm sitting on a boat as we speak now. I'm enjoying a couple days off, so it's good to talk to you guys. So what's happening?
How to throw in the boat thing? Jeez.
Why wouldn't you?
That's just rubbing it in. Wow, it's big time.
Dude. You should see me on the whatever they call it, the big floaty thing behind the boat. I don't know what they're not water skis. I'm not that pro, but whatever the big inflatable thing, I'm killing it. I'm telling my wife and man to just keep pumping the speed up. I can handle it.
Oh, the tube.
You should see me.
You're riding on one of those tubes.
It's not really a tube though. It's not really a tube. It's like a. Anyway, it doesn't matter. Big inflatable thing, but no one cares.
Yeah. Love it. Yeah. Well, tell me about your experience with the All-Star break. Obviously, you and I weren't fortunate enough to be on an All-Star game, but what was it like from your perspective? Watching some of your teammates go into the game.
Well, Charlie, first of all, I was a Midwest League All-Star. All right, so let's just
Florida State League All-Star here. So you and I can. That's it. We're
Tommy Topper over here, by the way, because we know the Midwest League back in the day was low A, and you're talking high A, dude. Wow. Okay, all right, no worries. Well, good for you. Give yourself a pat on the back. But let's just talk about that for the next 20 minutes. No. Listen, look, it goes in a couple different ways, right? Like, for example, when I was having a really rough year, especially 2010, you don't have to be a analytical genius to look that up. I went into that All-Star break. Now, I just needed a breather, dude. I was in such a bad frame of mind. I'm like, I just need these couple days to step away and try and come up with some kind of goals and salvage the rest of that year. That was really tough. But just what I was talking about before in regards to this current roster, and I'm sure, Charlie, you've been in this position before as well, where you're grinding it out, you're running on absolute empty. The tank is on empty because Charlie, as you know, man, you do those back-to-back-to-back days or a day off here and there coming out of the bullpen, or you're having those at-bats. You got that hot Detroit that hot Detroit weather out there, and you're sweating through that jersey. You're like, man, that 3 to 4 days just feels like a good 2 weeks, because it's amazing in baseball, time frames when you're playing every single day and just that 1 day off maybe every couple of weeks. Man, 3 days or 4 days off, whatever it is, can just feel like such a huge breath of fresh air. And I think for me, what I tried to do, I sort of set out, you come out of spring training and you're just full of energy, and you're healthy. You come out of spring training and you just, all systems go. You're feeling really optimistic, but that wears out over time because, you have some struggles or whatever it may be. You get to that All-Star break. Now you can just press the reset button and say, okay, for August and September, this is what I want to accomplish. This is where I'm at, and this is what I want to accomplish. And look, this team is going to need some good individual efforts. And besides the team chemistry, I think they can put their stamp on the fact they've got enough team chemistry. But I think each individual, 26 of them, I think and again, they're 85% of them are in a good place right now individually. That you walk away and you say, all right, what can I do? How can I level up here in the month of end of July into August and do everything I can as an individual? And then this team, I'm telling you, as we all know, when things are clicking, and there's especially a couple certain players, Julio being one of them, when things are clicking, man, it's contagious. So I think that's going to be the priority. But, man, look, Lefko, I don't know if you have all-star breaks when you're playing pickleball, mate, but I'm telling you, those 3 to 4 days, it feels like 2 weeks, and it's so needed, regardless of what you're doing performance-wise.
I mean, Ryan, you would know if you ever played, supposedly. So
yeah,
there we go. Clearly, there are breaks in pickleball. Everyone knows that. We don't grind as hard as baseball players. So we can get into the semantics of pickleball later. But, Ryan, you mentioned Julio there, and let's dive into him a little bit more, because it seemed like just the snap of the fingers. All of a sudden, all right, here's Julio. Here's his 3 home runs, 1 in every game of the series. But is it something that you feel like was part of whatever he has been working on all year, and now we finally saw the results? Is it just mentally he seemed like a better place, or what do you really put on what he did over the weekend? Or 5 extra base hits, 2 doubles, 3 home runs for his 6 hits. It just looked like, all right, this is the Julio everyone had been wanting to see.
I think it's more recent, and the reason I say that in regards to, man, to put this with Julio Rodriguez, man, he first of all, let's just take a step back here. You get him where he's that guy that can absolutely drive a ball into that right center gap with plus X of velo, and get those arms extended and drive the ball in the air to right field. And also, some of the other things he does, man, he's an above average player. We know that. But we all sit back and our expectations are through the roof with Julio Rodriguez, thinking, okay, what is he capable of? Because we know, and if you're around the game, you know physically what a specimen he is. What is he capable of, and what is he capable of in the power category? The power category in regards to the home runs and the doubles, RBIs, slug, has to come when he is pulling the ball in the air to left field, right? Now, I've said to you, Dave Wyman and Bob, and I guarantee you Charlie knows exactly what I'm talking about here. If I'm pitching to Julio middle of May, right, I don't throw a plus fastball. I'm just going to live because I can make a mistake, and this is rare in the big leagues. I'm comfortable to make a mistake middle in. Because usually a big league hitter, man, they get that bat head out. And Cal Raleigh, you can't make a mistake. We saw that Bailey Falter a couple at bats, left on right when he's hitting right-handed. You make a mistake middle in, it's getting absolutely crushed. Randy Rosarena now for the better part of the last couple of months. You make a mistake, you leave with a ball that's not perfect on that inner half of the plate, it's getting murdered. With Julio, you could kind of say, you know what, I can live with you hitting that ball to right field. I'm good with that. Because that's the only way you're going to get the ball in the air. On the weekend, we saw a Tarek Skubal, and make no mistake, I know it was hanging, but best pitch in baseball, the nastiest pitch, the hardest pitch to square up, and you got the bat head out. Then he did it again. And then, by the way, he hit a couple of balls foul to left field. So what that tells me is lately he's like, you know what, okay, all right, where I'm at in my comfort zone of being able to get balls in the air to right field, I'm okay with that. Now it's like, no, you know what? I want to make this adjustment, and I want to buy into whatever him and Kevin Seitzer or whoever he's working with more recently to trust the fact that, man, if I can cheat and I can jump out in front, may cost me a bit of swing and miss in the short term, but if I can jump out in front and cheat a little bit, get the bat head out, make a slight adjustment to get my hands clear on that pitch middle in with a little bit of velo or breaking ball, and I can catch that ball out in front, and I can drive that ball. If I can get it in the air to left field, man, good things are going to happen. And I feel like on this last weekend where there was a little bit of cheating, and I say that because, and when I say cheating, I'm saying like just kind of selling out, guessing the fact I'm able to get a pitch middle in because that's how they're going to pitch me, right? And I'm okay with hitting a couple balls foul and driving them in the air foul, right, like we saw. And then it's like, all right, your confidence goes through the roof when you do that. So I think if Julio can do that a little bit more consistently, guess what happens when that Jack Flaherty tries to throw that ball middle away? He drives the ball into the right field seats. That's where he is going to absolutely go off, man. Whatever the adjustments he's been making more recently, if he can keep on that and be really confident about it, good things are going to happen. And man, he's a scary hitter if he can cover that pitch middle in and get it in the out of left field.
Yeah, I love that. You know, with the trade deadline approaching here, I think the Mariners are sitting right in the middle of it all, and kind of a lot of people are wondering which direction they may end up going. And I know we're both pitchers. We may be biased towards, getting another bullpen guy. That's always appreciated. But, what do you think the team needs to kind of solidify the second half stretch run here?
If the current situation they're in, and let's not forget it's July 14th as we speak, right? And they get back to action at the end of the week. So you're only talking about 12 days. How many games are they going to make up to the Houston Astros? I feel like if you wanted to be in a situation where they wanted to say, all right, we're going to get a bat, when I say a bat, I'm saying we're going to give up some of this farm system to go more rental where everyone wants them to go, right? Especially Bob Stelton, who apparently is on vacation at the moment, wherever he's at. But he keeps talking about getting that bat in the middle of the lineup. Well, okay, for me, if I'm in a front office, and Charlie, you can speak for this, you've got to prove to me that that's a good investment and that's willing to give up, because we're not sitting 5 games back, then sitting 3 games, and then sitting 7 games in the middle of August, and then sort of looking ahead and chasing the Houston Astros. And by the way, the AL West wildcard race is going to be really, really tough, as we know, especially because of the AL East. So for me, if you get back on the 18th or whatever day they get back, it's the 18th, right? That's a Friday, yeah. You get back on that day and you take care of the Houston Astros, and you can put yourself 2 games back in that AL West. All right, you know what? Let's get that bullpen piece. All right, Charlie, I'm with you on that, man. They need that good bullpen piece. They need to fill that gap a little bit because the starters aren't going as deep, and I think they're going to be built off their pitching. Hitting's going to come and go. But if you can get to a place where we get to that deadline and we're close enough, and we can project the fact that we can somehow get this AL West, you know what? All right, then I'm looking at this going, all right, let's go a little bit more. Let's go a little harder to get an impact bat in the middle of the lineup that is going to have a power surge. It's going to complement a Cal Raleigh when they start pitching around him way more, like we're starting to see. And Randy Arozarena, if he's going to be this streaky, all right, who's someone who can pick up the pieces? If that's not the case, if you are not a game, 2 games out in the AL West, man, all right, then you know what? Go for the lower hanging fruit and go get yourself 2 bullpen arms. Or you know what? Hey, even go get another starting pitcher. Go get someone out there. There's plenty of starting pitching hovering around. Go get yourself a starting pitcher out there and fill up that rotation, someone who's going to make an impact even in the rotation.
Ryan, what do you think the Kade Anderson selection means for this team in the near future? Obviously, nothing happening this year, and I know Scott Hunter mentioned he's not going to pick up a baseball this season after 119 innings, but such an intriguing pick and a guy who seems to be so close to being MLB ready in the near future. What do you think this means for the rotation, for guys that may or may not be here, and how do you see all this playing out?
Well, first of all, I was kind of surprised, only because, and by the way, I was loving it. I love the fact that they got this kid, man. And I've just been doing a little bit more digging, and he comes from a place, LSU, where we know the track record there. Those guys come out of there with all kinds of presence. They have some sort of, they have, like we're talking about that mound presence, right? They have that kind of swagger already going into pro ball. It's not a situation where they're coming out of nowhere and they're like, oh, now I'm the big fish in a small pond. They've already been that. That's number one. So it was more of the predictable pick, and they don't usually are that predictable. Usually they're like, oh, we didn't see this guy coming. And that's not a bad thing because they do such an amazing job in the last couple of years with their draft picks. However, looking at this, because I think they know the writing's on the wall. A situation where you have I'll throw Bryce Miller into this, but a Brian Wu, Logan Gilbert, and a George Kirby, Luis Castellano, he's kind of getting towards the end there in regards to the deal with him. They're looking at this going, this may get split apart here in the next couple of years. One, because if we can't lock someone up long term. Two, if there's a trade available where we're like, you know what, maybe we see something that the front office sees something that the public doesn't see, and we're like, you know what, this is the time where we can pull off a massive trade. Man, I'm telling you, they have the luxury now to do that because all of a sudden they have, and by the way, it wasn't just Kade Anderson, there's a couple other arms too. They have that closer to the big league ready level pitcher that they can say, you know what, we're comfortable now giving up call it, whoever in the rotation to pull off a trade, which is going to put us over the edge in regards to going into a season, in an off season. And because we know, look, guys, we know it is tough to recruit that big free agent, not just because of dollars and cents, it's because you've got so much competition with some of these big market teams that throw ridiculous years and ridiculous money, which sometimes it doesn't make any sense, especially for pitching. Because these guys, look, let's get real, they blow out every other day, right? So I'm looking at this going, all right, if you solidify what's in the pipeline coming up within a year or two, you know what? Okay. Call it a Miller, Kirby, Wu. I hate to see any of these guys go, but you got to sometimes pull the trigger and pull off that big trade to absolutely solidify a gun roster to take on the AL West. Now we're more comfortable doing that. So I love the pick, man. It's great. And again, I'm not just saying this because of Paul Skeens coming out of LSU. There's other guys. You hear about that. The Vanderbilt's another one. But they come with that big league ready presence, ready to go within a year or two.
Well, Ryan, when I think big league ready, I'm looking at the guy right here who's wearing his LSU alumni shirt, one Charlie Furbush.
Right. Well, I was about to mix. I wanted to get to my point because otherwise I'd forget it. But I was going to get to I was going to drop a Paul Skeens, someone else. I couldn't think of a second name, and then the third name I was going to throw was a Charlie Furbush, but I couldn't get there, Charlie. I didn't have the information in front of me, so I'll throw Charlie in there as well.
Natural progression.
Tigers knew what they were doing.
Oh man, yeah, LSU a powerhouse, man. What a place to play.
Man.
What a place to play. Yeah. And yeah, like you said, getting Anderson this early is just incredible. But I want to switch gears to tonight. I'm sure you're excited. I know we're all excited to see Cal in the home run derby. You have you got any early thoughts, predictions? I can see him easily winning this thing, but where are you at?
Man, it's so hard to tell because I went to the one. Tell you what, I watched on TV. By the way, I love the new format. Growing up as a kid, I just sit there, take. It's like, come on, dude, get swinging. The new format's awesome. Everyone worries about him getting tired or whatever. I love it. It's so good. But I went to the one. I don't know, Charlie or Mike, if you guys went to the one in at T-Mobile. Yep. I had VIP tickets. I was on the field. No, I'm kidding. I did. I'm just kidding. No. But I went to the one in person, man, and I was blown away. It was so much fun to watch. And ever since then, I was like, yeah, I'm hooked. I love this format. I love the way they do it. I think with Cal, he's got that easy pop, as we know. You get there in batting practice in the middle of the afternoon, you're like, oh, my God. It's not talked about. Everyone talks about certain guys during batting practice. But Cal has that easy, good, take a breath, and whack. Doesn't have to swing out of your shoes. And so, I think, man, I have no idea what's going to happen. Pete Alonso, was the master at this. When he'd come into the home run derby, he had some kind of system. But, Cal had that practice session. I think that's really, really important. He's also got Randy and Julio have done it before. But it'd be fun. Hey, by the way, more importantly, what a big day for him, man. The Team USA. Yep. Mm-hmm. How good, dude. By the way, a couple of things on that real quick. I got a couple of little backstories there. First of all, Cal, I somehow randomly started talking to him about the WBC the year I did the pool in Taiwan, the last one. He goes, hey, man, how was that? And I said, oh, dude, it's epic. You kidding me? He goes, yeah, man, I was watching. I was so into it. I'm thinking, maybe one day you might be good enough to be the catcher for the Team USA. Because at that point, this was what year was that? 2020? Yeah, 2023. I'm sitting there. He wouldn't have gotten picked, obviously, right? Yeah. And I remember sitting there when I was talking to him. He was like, "Oh yeah, that looks awesome. I'd love to represent my country." I'm like, "Oh yeah, well, if you play your cards right and you keep playing well." Now look at him, dude. He's hit 38 bombs. It's before the All-Star break. It's ridiculous. And the other point on that too, Mark DeRosa. I saw him a couple months ago. He said, "Hey man, what do you think, Cal, for this Team USA, dude? Like, I'm going to hit him up at some point. And I said, dude, he would jump all over that. Like, he goes, oh, yeah, I need to ask him. I'm just, like, DeRosa was saying when he was talking about asking these players, the pitchers are going to be last except for Paul Skeens. But the position players, he was slowly but surely sort of taking his time picking it out. And he must have gotten around him and thought, you know what, the time's right to kick off, asking him now. And dude, of course he's going to say yes, man. It is so cool. Not to get too ahead of ourselves, I know we've got the All-Star game. But the All-Star game reminds me of some of the, not going to call it exhibition, but that World Baseball Classic is going to be epic. And how good is that? Team USA, you kidding me? We've got Cal Raleigh, our hometown dude, behind the dish. It's so good.
Yeah, well, I know it's a big deal to you, and I know how important you think of this as, and guys all around the world, take part in this. So we knew you'd be excited to weigh in on that. Now, Ryan, we've also been soliciting nicknames for Cal Raleigh because he's not just Big Dumper anymore. He is, like America's Dumper. He is the backside of Team USA. So we've gotten some good ones. You can think about some of these while you're on your boat, going for your ride on your little floaty thing there. But we got things like USDA Prime Dumper, the Star Spangled Dumper, the United States of America's Dumper,
where are these
things like
from?
our texters. No, it's Charlie's got some of them. America the Bootyful. I like that one. That's a good one from 360.
That's my favorite.
Yeah, so I don't know if there's one that you think of over this break while you're resting out there, you're sitting out there, a beverage in hand, and letting someone else drive the boat, not doing any work for these next few days. Let us know. Think of a good nickname for Cal Raleigh, but Ryan will let you.
I will for sure. And real quick, let's not forget, if Team USA comes up against Team Australia in the World Baseball Classic, I am going to be trolling on social media. I am going to be the biggest Cal Raleigh hater on the planet.
Oh, wow. Okay.
I am going to just speak my mind and say this guy sucks, and just watch Team Australia just absolutely upset this little Team USA squad, like one of these other countries. I can't even remember because I'm on a boat. In 2023. That's right. Yeah, it was Japan. That's right. That's going to be Team Australia. You know what? I should make a comeback. If Charlie makes a comeback and pitches for Team USA, I'll make a. Or if he can get his citizenship for Team Australia, come join the squad, dude. I'll make a comeback, and we'll just absolutely make Cal Raleigh look silly. How about that?
Wow, that's what Team Australia wants. Some old has-beens trying to pitch to Cal Raleigh.
Recruiting pitch if I've ever heard one. I am in.
Ryan, because we like you, we will not isolate you just saying, yeah, that Cal Raleigh, he's a bum, and play it over and over again on our airwaves. But that's what it sounds like you said. So hopefully Team Australia doesn't play Team USA. We can worry about it in a year, though.
I hope not too, man. They'll get destroyed. No offense, Australia, but that's because that team's too good. It's too good. Come on.
Yeah. Ryan, well, enjoy the rest of the break, and I guess we'll get you back out here Friday. The second half of the season begins, but until then, enjoy the water, enjoy the boat.
You too. Enjoy the break, fellas. Talk soon.
All right, there is Ryan Rowland-Smith. Our weekly conversation with Ryan Rowland-Smith is presented by Mazda of Everett, and that might be one of the worst ideas I've ever heard, to get you two to pitch for Team Australia. He's not listening anymore, so I can say that. But
one of the worst ideas you've ever heard. Come on. You think about that.
You can't throw against Cal Raleigh. You don't want to be embarrassed.
What do you mean
like
I can't? I'm fully capable. It doesn't mean I would be
How
successful.
long would it take to work to kind of get that arm ready, to warm it up?
How long would it take?
Get that arm loose.
Okay. Well, we have years in the making now, so I have time.
What's the last time you clocked yourself?
Oh, man, it's been right before I retired in 2019.
So you have not thrown a competitive pitch that you've tracked since 2019?
Yeah, like trying to, Yeah,
I'm worried about
I believe me, I'm worried about it too.
All right, we'll start getting ready now. Start loosening up.
Yeah, I would say, if I had to guess how hard I could throw right now without, like, breaking the engine, you know what I mean? I think I got, like, 70 in the tank, 72 maybe.
So you would catch Cal Raleigh off guard with your change-up fastball.
Yeah, I mean, I might even, I like to call it the old Frisbee slider, that comes, left to right.
You still have that?
Nice. I don't know if I can spin it as much as I used to, so I might have to just rely on the old trusty knuckleball.
Yeah, Joe in Bellevue makes a good point. I mean, if Ryan was pitching to Cal Raleigh, Cal's definitely going to win the home run derby. Just those meatballs right down the middle.
No doubt.
Yeah.
No doubt.
All right. Well, there was some good stuff from Ryan. We will get back to the home run derby and your nicknames, which have been great, but kind of want to dive into Julio more because the series he had was incredible, but was it an aberration? There's always this, all right, we saw this little hot stretch from Julio. Will it last? Will it be sustainable? Ryan brought up some good points. We'll kind of dive into some more of that up next. Mike Lefko and Charlie Furbush with you here on Wyman and Bob on Seattle Sports and the Seattle Sports app.
The All-Star Fantastic Four. It's now the Mariners Fantastic Five.
Welcome to Randyland.
As Randy El Rosarena joins Andres, Brian, Julio, and Cal.
Holy smokes.
In the 2025 Midsummer Classic, tomorrow afternoon at 5 from Truist Park in Atlanta. On the home of the Mariners, Seattle Sports on 710 and the Seattle Sports app.
Hey everybody, it's Bob Stelton here. Let me tell you about one of the best decisions I've ever made in my life. That's when I went to K2 Vision for refractive lens exchange. Now, if you're somebody like me who struggled with distance vision, maybe you always need a pair of reading glasses, K2 Vision RLE could be your perfect permanent solution like it was for me. And here's the cherry on top. You'll never develop a cataract. K2 Vision RLE is quick, painless, and I am seeing great now without glasses or readers. I can actually read restaurant menus. I can read the receipts when they show up. I can read texts on my phone. It's amazing. RLE is an absolute game changer. I'm so excited to spend my good active years not needing reading glasses. K2 Vision RLE gave me great vision that's permanent. The doctors at K2 Vision have performed over 150,000 lens procedures, so they know when RLE is right for you. Schedule your free Zoom consultation today at K2VisionRLE.com. K2 Vision RLE, no readers, glasses, contacts, or cataracts. K2VisionRLE.com.
Why is Mazda of Everett the #1 dealer on the West Coast? Mazda of Everett is locally owned and operated for 20 years. They work hard to get you their best deal every time and to make sure you drive away happy. With over 700 new Mazdas, they stock more than anyone in the Seattle area. Find out for yourself why people keep coming back to Mazda of Everett. Take advantage of the Mazda of Everett price during the More to Move You sales event. MazdaofEverett.com. Claims based on Mazda USA inventory and sales reports.
If you have unfiled taxes or are in debt to the IRS, this is important news. Did you know the IRS has programs specifically designed to help people struggling with tax debt? Powerful tax assistance programs that can save you thousands if you qualify. No one knows these programs better than the experts at Optima Tax Relief, America's most trusted tax resolution firm. A+ rated by the Better Business Bureau, their award-winning tax attorneys and licensed professionals have resolved over $1 billion of tax debt for their clients. One call to Optima can start the process, helping to put an end to your worries about wage garnishment, asset seizure, and other aggressive IRS actions. Find the best options to solve your tax problems. Call the experts at Optima Tax Relief today for a free consultation.
Call 800-343-6460. 800-343-6460. 800-343-6460.
Optima Tax Relief.
Some restrictions apply. For complete details, please visit OptimaTaxRelief.com.
This is the story of the one. As a safety manager at a manufacturing plant, he does everything he can to keep his coworkers safe. From finding ways to reduce risks to keeping safety supplies in stock. And for that, he relies on Grainger. Grainger offers a broad range of quality products and next-day delivery, so he can always play it safe. Call 1-800-GRAINGER, click Grainger.com, or just stop by. Grainger, for the ones who get it done.
Hey, Green Gobbler here. So you've got a clogged drain in your bathroom. Water in the sink's overstaying its welcome. You're spitting today's toothpaste on top of yesterday's toothpaste. You hope that it go away. Yeah, clogs don't just go away. I make them go away. I'm Green Gobbler, the only clog dissolver you need. I'm bleach-free, safe for your pipes, and I work. Guaranteed or your money back. Because I never met a clog that was gonna unclog itself. Green Gobbler. Let the gobbler get it.
The home of the Mariners, Seattle Sports.
Cal swinging a drive, deep to right field.
Every pitch of every Mariners game is on the Seattle Sports app.
Hey golf fans, Jordan Babineau here. Get ready for an unforgettable weekend at the 2025 Boeing Classic. Come see Masters champions and Hall of Fame golfers battle it out at the club at Snoqualmie Ridge, August 8th through the 10th. Bring the whole family and check out Seahawks Village, packed with fun for all ages. Plus, celebrate 20 years of the Boeing Classic, supporting the Benaroya Research Institute at Virginia Mason Franciscan Health. It's more than just golf. It's an experience you won't want to miss. August 8th through the 10th. Tickets start at just $20 and kids get in free. Visit BlowingClassic.com for more.
1-877 Cards for Kids. KARS Cards for Kids.
Ready to get rid of that old car? Donate it to Cars for Kids. Call 1-877-CARS-FOR-KIDS to reach a friendly live agent. Donation's super easy, and your car can be picked up as soon as tomorrow. Call us now, 1-877-CARS-FOR-KIDS.
1-877-CARS-FOR-KIDS. Donate your car today.
Did you know you can donate real estate too?
Change is always happening. It's part of life. And when it comes to music, change is all around us. Songs are rewritten. Classics are remixed. Bands and artists come and go. Even our taste in music changes. Here at Xfinity, we know there's still good in keeping some things the same. That's why we want to do our part with a 5-year price guarantee on our internet. It means no matter what changes, you get 5 years of the most reliable Wi-Fi with our best equipment included for a price that stays exactly the same. Surprised? Life is full of them. One internet price, 5 years, guaranteed. Learn more at xfinity.com/deals. Restrictions apply. New residential customers only. Taxes and fees extra and subject to change. Most reliable Wi-Fi based on Open Signal Awards USA. Fixed Broadband Experience Report, August 2024.
This hour of Wyman and Bob is brought to you by K2 Vision.
From the Quantum Fiber Studio, you're listening to Wyman and Bob.
Weekdays 2 to 7
on Seattle Sports and 97.3 FM HD2.
So the MLB draft is wrapping up. We're currently getting towards the end of round 18 of 20. And at some point, whether it's later today, and we're only going up until 5 because the Home Run Derby starts, but Charlie, whether it's later today or maybe we'll run it tomorrow, we're hoping to catch up with Jay Johnson, the head coach of LSU, your Tigers, national champion LSU Tigers, and a coach of Kade Anderson. So he'll have some great insight about him. The observation I made, and then it was pointed out to me, this sounds like a very old man complaint, which that's the theme of this show.
I didn't say old man complaint.
What did you say? You just said it was a boomer take.
I just said, okay, boomer.
Yeah, but that's an old man thing. That means you're making fun of someone.
I think it's a very specific kind of old man.
Is that worse than calling someone an old man then? That's just more...
I meant it to be more insulting.
Yeah, more
than
insulting.
That's what you're asking.
Yeah, he did. Matt and I have not had many shows together over the last few weeks. I'm very sad about that.
It's been pretty great.
Yeah, now we're
Are you going back to Europe anytime soon?
No, unfortunately not. But yeah, I was mentioning that, you look at this first round, Charlie, and there are a lot of Gavins and Cadens and Kysons and a Kaysen, Xavier, Tate, Cruz, or maybe it's Cruz, Kruz.
Yeah, Cruz.
Gaze, that's Cruz. Say that's that's a Cruz. I just called it Cruz.
Yeah.
Kruz.
Nelson Cruz.
Yeah, Ellie De La Cruz
No,
in the Home Run Derby
not
tonight.
Not C, Kruz. That's not a normal name. Dax, all these names. Like, where are the good old names? Do you remember when Mike used to rule the roost? Like, Mike used to be named. There's no Charlies in this draft. There's not a Matt to be found in this draft. So I just was remarking about that. And then I was called out. So, hey, Gen Z and their names, they're new.
Do you not like the names?
They're just interesting. They're just different.
Is it a spelling?
It makes all of our names feel old.
Does it, though?
Yeah.
I feel like you're taking this personally.
I think I am.
Are you?
Yeah.
Yeah. I think you're really a little salty about it.
It was merely an observation, and it got turned into calling me old. So
if you had do you have a dog, or you don't have a dog, right?
No, I don't have a dog.
No. If you say you had a dog, what would you name it? A classic name?
I would name it Big Dumper.
Of classic.
Yeah, a classic.
That is classic.
Classic name, yeah. A classic name. Now, I'll probably name it Cruz now. Kruz. That's what I'm going to name my dog. So there, yeah. MLB draft wrapping up. We'll hear from Jay Johnson at some point to talk about Kade with a K, Anderson, who should be very intriguing for this team in the near future. But someone that the Mariners look like they have a big boost of momentum going into the second half of this season. So we think, and we've thought at times throughout the years, Julio, he came out of that Tiger series. I mean, he looked different. 5 of his 6 hits were extra base hits. He had a home run in every game of the series. I don't know if there's a marked change. Ryan had a theory about what's changed recently, and it makes sense that it's kind of been this long process, and now he has finally found something in all this tinkering. But when you see Julio and you look at that small sample size of these last 3 games, what do you take away from what you saw out of him?
What I see is a hitter that is attacking pitchers he knows he can do damage with, right? I think that's the name of the game with Julio is having the opportunity to do damage on a pitch, you may only get one pitch per at bat. And I think in that Detroit series, you saw him not miss the opportunities he had. And I think that's where Julio's success is going to continue, to be really, I guess, I don't know if hard to come by is going to be the way to say it, but he's going to have limited opportunities, right? So I think when you have an opportunity in an at-bat and you don't get it done, you don't pull the trigger, you foul it off, you may not see another pitch like that. So what I'm seeing is now the opportunity he has is like, okay, I see this pitch. It's in the zone where I can attack and do damage. Now I can't miss. And I think that's in the beginning of the season, I felt like he was just swinging and missing more, or like taking pitches that you normally could go attack, and he wasn't doing that. So I would like to think that this is a really good precursor to what the second half of the season is going to be like with Julio, because in the past we've seen like this team goes as Julio goes, right? I mean, we've said this time and time again, and if he's playing really well, the Mariners are playing really well, and this year they're still playing really well, and he's, I would say, doing okay, but he's not like the star of the show. So if he can even be a little bit closer to that star of the show, that just makes the team that much better, and I think the Mariners will continue to go even beyond as Julio goes.
Yeah, from Julio's perspective, here's what kind of he broke down about what was clicking for him over the weekend.
I mean, I feel like I was just on time, I was just on time, and I was, looking for my pitches, staying within myself with my bats, and just, taking what the game was giving me.
Exactly what you're saying there.
Right? Simplify the approach,
It's like you
right?
played the game.
It's like I, have seen a few things in my time. Yeah, exactly. But that's really, when you talk to hitters, like the name of the game for them is timing. It's like, how can I figure out how to be on time when the person that's pitching is always trying to make me not on time, right? And like, I'm trying to miss your barrel. I'm trying to make you second guess based on angles, sequencing, all sorts of things. And it honestly kind of sounds more veteran-like from that. Oh, no, I'm just trying to, keep it simple, hit the ball, take the opportunities when I get them, and do some damage. And, that's going to be, I think, the best version of Julio, no matter what happens, is like, okay, acknowledging what happened. Like, okay, yeah, I had an opportunity, I didn't get it done. There's always a game tomorrow. I'm going to do my best to show up. And I think when you're a 24-year-old kid, you don't really realize who you are, how you react to, he's probably a guy as well that he hasn't really hit a ton of adversity in his life, right? He's been the best baseball player for a long time. Obviously, it's rightfully so. He gets paid in that sense too. Like that's totally great. But to be able to be that young and go through some adversity and then come out on the other side and have a great group of guys and coaching staff to help him go through this, it feels like Julio's now just over that hump and going to, kind of launch into the next echelon of player that he is.
Does it feel like that he finally maybe found a balance of not trying to be too much of, over aggressive and chase? And, in the past it was, well, he's off balance and he's wildly flailing at pitches outside of the zone. Now this year, his whiff rate is down, his strikeout rate is down. So it's back to all the contact has been there, but it was in the form of ground balls. So perhaps, hey, was it something where, all right, he figured out, look, I can still make contact here. I'm not going to be as worried about kind of the strikeouts, and maybe I miss on a pitch because of everything we heard from him and from you right there, that I'm confident in my timing, and then now it's all kind of clicking together, and we saw it kind of just all come to fruition in this series?
Yeah, I think that's what happens, though, throughout the season is you run into hitters, not just Julio, where they run into like a stretch of at-bats, call it a 3-game, 6-game stretch where you're like, oh, okay.
Yeah.
He's seemingly on time. He looks, there's just like this little, I don't know, it's like a look, right? He looks a little more comfortable, a little more at ease up there with what is going on in front of him. And especially facing Skubal, like that's not easy, right? One of the best left-handed pitchers in the game. And then, to top it off with all the other, great pitchers they have. So I think, Julio specifically is in a really, I think he's in a really good spot right now. I think this break's going to be good for him physically, but I think this break's going to be even more beneficial for him mentally to go into the second half with, like, I think a new energy and excitement to go, okay, we're here. And they're facing the Astros this weekend. So you come in, you keep this streak going, you win the series there, put you in a much better spot, and then you look at the lineup and you go, oh man, they're close, they're in a good spot. So I foresee Julio having a great second half. It really is a player that's so fun to watch and can really, like I said earlier, it can take the weight off of Cal's shoulder for what he's done so far.
Hey, if you missed any of our show or just going to go watch some things again, check out our Wyman and Bob channel on the Seattle Sports YouTube page. You can search for Seattle Sports on all social media platforms to find segments like our conversations with Seahawks players, with Mariners players, and much more. In fact, Dave and Bob, they have been recording 5 reasons they think the Seahawks will make the playoffs this season. They're going to release one of those each day this week. So a little bit of a quieter sports week. That'll be up on YouTube. One reason every day as they count down 5 down to 1, as you usually do in a countdown. Sometimes Wyman likes to go 1 first and spoil it, but they're counting those down. It'll be up on our YouTube channel, so check that out on the Wyman and Bob show page, or on the Wyman and Bob channel on the Seattle Sports YouTube page for their countdown and all of our interviews and everything else you might have missed. But coming up, the home runs we were talking about with Julio, they weren't the only long balls taking place from the Mariners over the weekend. In fact, it was a home run flurry, and there was a big reason why all those balls were leaving the yard. We'll hear about that when we sweep the dial. Coming up here on Wyman and Bob on Seattle Sports and the Seattle Sports app.
The season of Cal continues.
And the next offer on the way to Cal, swinging a drive deep to right field.
Big dumper is in the Derby.
Goodbye, baseball.
Like, what if Cal was doing this for the Yankees and Judge was doing this for the Mariners? Who's the MVP then?
Hear Cal Raleigh in the Home Run Derby today at 5. Live from Truist Park in Atlanta. Only on the home of the Mariners. Seattle Sports on 710 and the Seattle Sports app.
Dave Wyman here for Harley Exteriors. When you hear Harley Exteriors, I want you to think windows manufactured right here in Washington and specifically designed for our Pacific Northwest homes and climate. These are the windows you want. They look absolutely stunning, much better than a traditional vinyl window, and they're going to lower your energy bills and provide year-round comfort. They also come with a double lifetime, fully transferable warranty, meaning not only are you covered for glass breaking or damaged seals, it's going to help your resale and home value. These windows last up to 60 years. Harley Exteriors is making these windows affordable with options like 0 payments and 0 interest up to 12 months for qualified buyers. In July, Harley Exteriors is offering 50% off basic installation, no payments, no interest for 12 months, and an additional $200 off your project. Think Harley Exteriors for windows, doors, and more right here in the Puget Sound. Call 833-HARLEY or just go to harleyexteriors.com.
Do you have 3 ex-wives and your current trophy wife wants a life insurance policy 3 times the size of the policies you had to purchase for your previous mistakes? If so, you need to call Big Lou at Term Provider, 800-555-2085. Big Lou is intimately familiar with your problems, and if you're 50 or 60 years old and in reasonably good health, a $1 million policy should only cost about $100 to $200 per month. Big Lou may have a solution for your previous policies as well. You may even save enough money to lighten the load on your new $1 million policy. Remember, call Big Lou. He's like you, except he's only on number 2. Call Term Provider at 800-555-2085. That's 800-555-2085. For $1 million in term life insurance that you can live with, call Big Lou at 800-555-2085.
Hey, Mike Salk here with some exciting news from a family-owned business that's local here in Western Washington. Yeah, we love to root for these guys. It's Riverside Roofing, and they've once again earned the prestigious GAF Master Elite President's Club. Well, that puts them in the 99.9th percentile of all roofers in the nation. So you might remember I've been talking about only 3% of roofing companies nationally qualify for GAF Master Elite status. But how many of those achieve President's Club? Well, that's only 2%. Truly the cream of the crop. Proudly from Marysville and serving homeowners all over Western Washington, Riverside Roofing is the roofing company you can trust. So what does that mean for you, the homeowner? Well, it means you're hiring the best. A company that gets high marks in performance, reliability, and service, plus an elite warranty to match. Highly reviewed and highly recommended, certainly by me. Riverside Roofing is your go-to local roofing contractor. Book them now and get that roof done fast. I highly recommend them. Go to riversideroofingllc.com. They are the roofing company you can trust.
Bonneville International radio station contests are open to participants 18 years of age or older that are residents of Washington State unless otherwise specified. Employees or agents of the station, Bonneville International Corporation, other area radio stations, or any entity associated with the contests are not eligible to win unless the station otherwise specifies at its own discretion. Persons who have won in the last 60 days from a station contest or event may not be eligible. Full general contest rules are available on seattlesports.com or in person at the station during regular business hours.
The home of the Mariners.
Lift off to center. It is on its way. Julio, 2-run home run.
Hear every pitch on 710 and the Seattle Sports app.
Comcast Business helps turn today's small businesses into engines of modern business. It's how restaurants become reliably up and running neighborhood favorites. How retailers become seamlessly restocking, cyber-securing, must-visit shops. And how healthcare offices become the data managing caregivers that we all depend on. With reliable connectivity, enhanced cybersecurity, advanced fiber solutions, and Wi-Fi backup, Comcast Business is powering the engine of modern business. Powering possibilities.
Now through July 21st, new Comcast Business customers can find out how to get started with 150 megabit internet and Security Edge for $59.99 a month for 12 months with a 2-year agreement. Plus, ask how to get a $500 prepaid card for your business. Call and switch to Comcast Business today. Restrictions apply. Requires paperless billing and automatic payments with bank account. Equipment, taxes, and fees extra. Early termination fee applies.
I'm sure by now you've heard interviews with a whole lot of people who took the First Mark Challenge and saved so much money on their insurance and got better coverage. We call them First Mark victories. Well, I too took the First Mark Challenge and am thrilled to say that First Mark is saving my family thousands. Now that's what I call a victory. Before we got married, my husband had been with the same agent for so long, I think we just assumed that they were working hard to get us the best coverage and save us money, but it wasn't the case. And we only knew that by taking the First Mark Challenge. First Mark works for you, not the insurance carriers. First Mark will fully analyze your current coverage, making sure you're not overpaying for the wrong coverage, which could leave you at risk for financial loss. Then they carefully search the market, dozens of major carriers to find you the best fit. And that's it. First Mark Insurance has helped thousands of families successfully manage the complicated world of insurance and save them thousands, my family included. Be the next First Mark Challenge victory. Take the First Mark Challenge now. It's free. Go to firstmarkinsurance.com. First Mark Insurance. They work for you.
Scanning the airwaves for the most interesting and entertaining stories of the day. Sweeping the dial. Every afternoon at 4:45 with Wyman and Bob.
Presented by Silver Reef Casino Resort.
Or scanning the airwaves slightly earlier today since we're done at 5 o'clock. It's the Home Run Derby, and everyone wants to hear that. We'd rather hear that than hear Charlie and myself talk because Cal Raleigh's in it. So we'll turn you over to the Home Run Derby at 5 o'clock. We'll sweep the dial right now, and it's very Mariners related since, you know, a lot's happening with this Mariners team. They're coming off a big series sweep, and it's the All-Star game and the Home Run Derby this week. So when we're talking about the All-Star game, you know, the Mariners had 4 All-Stars. Now, Julio said he was not participating on Friday, and you don't get to control who the replacement is, but luckily for the Mariners, turned out to be Randy Arozarena. Very deserving, especially after this stretch, and Julio himself actually kind of weighed in on what it meant that Arozarena was the selection.
To be honest, like the morning before we went out to breakfast and we talked a little bit about my decision and all that, and like, you know, I thought he deserved it. I thought he deserved it, and I'm very happy and proud of him. Everything he has done for us throughout the whole year, and I hope he enjoys it and like give the best out there and represent us like I know he will.
I know people kind of argue about the various merits of the All-Star game. Some people thought Julio shouldn't have been in there. There's a contingent that is very upset that the Brewers pitcher Jacob Misiorowski is in it. He's only made 5 starts in his career. He was a selection after people backed out. But, I mean, it's cool, right, to see some guy get an All-Star nod. You and Ryan were just talking about it and kind of joking, but I'm sure as a baseball player, whether it's as a selection as a starter or you get named as a replacement, that's got to be one of the coolest things that can happen in your career.
Without a doubt. It's, you know, an incredible feat, and it kind of makes you pinch yourself and just be like, is this real? Am I still doing this? This is amazing. So it's really cool to have that accolade. You know, everyone's wanting to be in the All-Star game, and that's what's cool is like you get to play with some teammates. And, well, every year, obviously, one of your teammates is going to go to the All-Star game because every team needs a representative. But, well, ideally, you're getting multiple guys, and it's such a cool experience for them. I know, I remember all the years Felix would go and take his private jet all wherever he went, wherever the All-Star game was. And but he was, I would say the one thing I remember about Felix, he was really good about bringing like All-Star swag back for the team. So like that was always nice to show up after the All-Star game, even though you weren't there. You got some gear. Yeah, you got some presents from the team, or from your teammates. Felix was really good about that. So definitely still got a couple, like 2014 or 15 All-Star shorts or shirts, rolling around. But yeah, it's so cool. It's just what an experience to have the All-Star game, celebrating the game's best players, and as exciting as it is for you personally, it's just as exciting for your family and friends. I mean, they get to watch you grow up as a baseball player, and then to have this moment on the national stage, just a dream come true in a lot of ways.
Sweeping the dial.
The first round of the MLB draft was yesterday. The rest of the draft is wrapping up. They're in the final round right now, kind of churning their way through round 20. So we might be able to catch up with Jay Johnson, who is the head coach of Kade Anderson at LSU, and Kade, who was picked by the Mariners at number 3 overall. Now, excuse someone not muting their Zoom call here during this conference afterwards, but Kade discussed what it felt like to be picked by the Mariners.
Yeah, I mean, still doesn't really feel real. And when I heard my name, obviously, it's what you dream about. And just super grateful to be selected by an organization that really got to kind of meet and take in. And I think just everything happens for a reason. And for me to be selected by the Mariners truly means a lot. And it's an emotional time, and just really excited to spend this time with my family and celebrate with them.
Yeah, so someone else is doing their own thing in the background. But outside of that, I mean, how cool is that even, hey, if you were projected maybe to be number 1 overall or to be a top 5, you're the number 3 overall pick in all of baseball. And there are 20 rounds of this thing, and you heard your name called 3rd out of everyone.
It is, yeah. I mean,
you were drafted pretty high. I mean, that's
4th round.
Yeah, very impressive.
Yeah, that was an incredible day. I was actually on the way in watching my draft video on this old Motorola Razor phone, that my cousin had, and we had a bunch of people at the house, and first round went by, no big deal. I knew I wasn't in the first round, and then the 3rd round went by, and I was like, oh man, I thought maybe I'd get drafted in the 3rd, and then sure enough, 4th round came, and it was the first year that actually puts the draft online. It was back in 2007, and I remember we're 151st pick, the Detroit Tigers select Charlie, and then the whole room erupted, and all my family and friends are going crazy, and it is an emotional time. Tears were shed. It was definitely I think that's the big accomplishment. It's like once you just want to get drafted to get into the pro ranks, and then give yourself a chance to make it. You don't know if you're going to make it, and a lot of guys don't, but you can't make it if you don't get drafted or you don't get signed. So it really is this an unbelievable moment that you not only feel so fortunate and so much gratitude, but you do just feel proud and lucky that you got to be able to do it.
So the draft moves so quickly in baseball that there's not really time for them to call you, is there? Before. So did you know beforehand?
Right before.
Oh, right before.
Right
okay,
before I got the call, and it's like, hey, we're gonna draft you. Stay tuned.
And
I was like, oh my god.
So did you tell everyone, or did you keep it silent?
Well, they were with me, so they could tell. I was like,
They're like, it's coming up right now.
Yeah, that's why. Because once they said my name, that's why everyone went crazy. So I was on the phone with the scout, Jim Ruff. And the rest is history.
That's awesome.
Sweeping the dial.
So yesterday, the Mariners had those 5 home runs, and they had 2 key ones in the 9th inning, back-to-back from Jorge Polanco and Cole Young that took the lead, then gave them some breathing room. And here's Dan Wilson breaking down how important those were in the course of the game and the entire series.
Yeah, huge. Polo is, had a huge series for us. And then, to get that pinch hit today and get a pitch up in the zone, it was a huge moment, and then Cole being able to follow that up, just a great job on both those guys' parts. He can be really tough on lefties with that changeup, but our guys were locked in, and again, these guys were not to be denied today. And once Detroit went ahead, I knew our guys had plenty left in the tank and we're going to come back, and not only did we come back, but then able to really kind of bust it open there in the last inning. Just again, some really good at bats there and really good offense.
What about the depth of this lineup? especially over the course of this series, where you didn't just have that top of the order, but you had Canzone and Williamson and Cole Young, who has now hit 2 home runs, his first 2 home runs over this last week. Now, all of a sudden, this lineup seems like it has some enviable depth when everyone's clicking like this.
You know, it's been that way throughout the year. I feel like, you know, you look at the lineup and they can be so good, right? That you actually, like, they have potential when they're all playing well. You go, man. And the back half of the lineup, I mean, there were a couple stretches there where, you know, it was the Canzone, Williamson, Young show, and they were just holding down the back of the lineup, you know, raking in 2-3 hits a game. Not to mention the Solano stretch, right? I mean, there's a lot of, I think, good things to appreciate with this lineup when they're playing well. And I think that, you know, that just shows you where they are as a unit and how close they are, is that when they all start clicking, when you know, aside from Cal, you get everyone else kind of doing their role the way they should be. And this lineup, arguably, I would say arguably, maybe a little too aggressive, dangerous. They can be a dangerous lineup. I mean, you saw it in Detroit, 35 runs in 3 games.
Very impressive. Well, we'll see what's for real and what might be on shaky ground, because they are done with the first part of the season. That second act, that second part begins on Friday after the All-Star game coming up tomorrow. So what's real for this Mariners team and what might be uncertain going down this back half of the season? We'll get into that. We can get your thoughts on that as well. Mike Lefko and Charlie Furbush with you here on Seattle Sports and the Seattle Sports app.
The season of Cal continues.
And the next offer on the way to Cal, swinging a drive deep to right field.
Big dumper is in the Derby.
Goodbye, baseball.
Like, what if Cal was doing this for the Yankees and Judge was doing this for the Mariners? Who's the MVP then?
Hear Cal Raleigh in the Home Run Derby today at 5. Live from Truist Park in Atlanta. Only on the home of the Mariners. Seattle Sports on 710 and the Seattle Sports app.
When it comes to the security of your business, doubts can creep in about who you're trusting to protect it. At Bail Arm, we got you. For nearly 80 years, we've been putting our customers' minds at ease with our advanced technology and personalized support. Feeling insecure about your current security service? Visit bailarm.com today.
Overburdened with a bunch of stuff you don't want anymore, but feel bad throwing it away? John here with Happy Hauler, Seattle's eco-friendly junk removal. We prioritize donating and recycling. We'll help get your items to those in need instead of going to the landfill. At Happy Hauler, we pride ourselves on responsibility, community, and sustainability. We're a family-run small business that provides junk removal, donations, and recycling. Make yourself, your community, and the planet happy. It's time to reclaim your space. HappyHauler.com, hauling with a heart.
Jet City Harley sales event is happening now. Save up to $5,000 on new 2023 Harleys. Jet City Harley needs to make room for more bikes. Save up to $5,000 on a new 2023 Harley at Jet City Harley.
See dealer for details. State amounts differ by 2023 models available.
Do you have 3 ex-wives and your current trophy wife wants a life insurance policy 3 times the size of the policies you had to purchase for your previous mistakes? If so, you need to call Big Lou at Term Provider, 800-555-2085. Big Lou is intimately familiar with your problems, and if you're 50 or 60 years old and in reasonably good health, a $1 million policy should only cost about $100 to $200 per month. Big Lou may have a solution for your previous policies as well. You may even save enough money to lighten the load on your new $1 million policy. Remember, call Big Lou. He's like you, except he's only on number 2. Call Term Provider at 800-555-2085. That's 800-555-2085. For $1 million in term life insurance that you can live with, call Big Lou at 800-555-2085.
Hey, Green Gobbler here. So you've got a clogged drain in your bathroom. Water in the sink's overstaying its welcome. You're spitting today's toothpaste on top of yesterday's toothpaste. You hope that it go away. Yeah, clogs don't just go away. I make them go away. I'm Green Gobbler, the only clog dissolver you need. I'm bleach-free, safe for your pipes, and I work. Guaranteed or your money back. Because I never met a clog that was gonna unclog itself. Green Gobbler. Let the gobbler get it.
Keeping your engines healthy means protecting them in season and out. Experts trust Stable to do that, and third-party testing confirms it. Stable is the industry leader in preventing fuel-related issues, no matter if you use it in your car, boat, or outdoor power equipment. In season or out, At every fill-up or when you store, start with Stable.
Saving for retirement was tough enough for us.
Yes, and navigating markets can be challenging at times.
I understand. That's why at Fisher Investments, we take a disciplined approach with your investments.
Tell us more about that.
We take an active approach to money management, positioning your portfolio for opportunities we see ahead.
So all your clients get the same portfolio?
No, we tailor your portfolio to your individual goals and needs.
What about communication? We don't like being left in the dark.
We check in regularly to keep you informed on the markets and your portfolio.
Which means you'll help us stay on track.
Yes, our goal is your comfortable retirement. And as a fiduciary, we always put your interests first, because we do better when you do better. At Fisher Investments, we're clearly different. Learn more at FisherInvestments.com.
Investing in securities involves the risk of loss.
Hi, it's me, Flo, here to tell you that with the Progressive Home and Auto Bundle, you get 24/7 protection, so you're covered no matter where the day takes you.
Even I added too much water to the pizza dough day?
Yep.
How about getting a call from my daughter to pick her up at the airport because her boyfriend is unreliable day?
Especially that day.
What about finding out that one of my pipes suddenly burst in my basement day?
Progressive has every day covered 24/7 with a Home and Auto Bundle. Also, you have a lot of bad days.
Oh no, that was all the same day.
At least you're covered with Progressive.
Progressive Casualty Insurance Company, affiliates, and other insurers. Not available in all states.
Hey, Green Gobbler here. So you've got a clogged drain in your bathroom. Water in the sink's overstaying its welcome. You're spitting today's toothpaste on top of yesterday's toothpaste. You hope that it'd go away. Yeah, clogs don't just go away. I make them go away. I'm Green Gobbler, the only clog dissolver you need. I'm bleach-free, safe for your pipes, and I work. Guaranteed or your money back. Because I never met a clog that was gonna unclog itself. Green Gobbler. Let the gobbler get it.
Let's go! This is Seattle Sports.
Streaming through the Seattle Sports app.
KIRO AM Seattle. KIRO FM HD2 Tacoma. Home of the Seahawks, Mariners, and everything Seattle sports. Seattle Sports Snapshot.
The Home Run Derby begins shortly. In a little under an hour, we'll turn you over to it. You can hear it right here on Seattle Sports. It starts at 5 o'clock. Cal Raleigh, obviously, in the Home Run Derby, so we'll see how he does, trying to become first Mariners catcher to win the Home Run Derby. Some more baseball news. Stu Sternberg has agreed to sell the Tampa Bay Rays for $1.7 billion. I almost said million there, but the Rays are worth a little more than that. $1.7 billion to a Florida-based developer, Patrick Zapolsky. So some moves there on Tampa. They're still looking to figure out what to do with their stadium, but they have been sold by Stu Sternberg. And in the NFL, the Jets and Garrett Wilson have agreed to a 4-year, $130 million contract extension, which includes $90 million guaranteed.
Snapshot, brought to you by Miller Lite. When it's game time, it's Miller time.
This hour is serviced by the Lee Johnson Auto family.
From the Quantum Fiber Studio, this is Wyman and Bob
on Seattle Sports.
Streaming live on the Seattle Sports app and at seattlesports.com.
Now, here are your hosts, Dave Wyman and Bob Stelton.
Mike Lefko and Charlie Furbush here with you for another hour till 5 o'clock. A little bit shorter show. Charlie, we usually go till 6, so you're getting a little benefit here.
I don't know if it's a benefit.
Usually you do 1 hour, now we're up to 3. We're working your way up to 4. Just like you got to build up your arm.
That's
if
it.
you're going to pitch for Team Australia. We're getting you back up to full strength. Soon you can do 4, but first we're going to do 3.
Thanks.
And then get you up to the full,
Thanks,
the
Dad.
full show.
I appreciate it.
Yeah, I got to make sure you're in good talking shape and pitching shape.
That's right.
But if we can get a time set up, because the MLB draft has just ended, all 20 rounds, it sounds like either today or tomorrow we're going to catch up with Jay Johnson, LSU baseball's head coach, who is the coach of Kade Anderson. So hopefully 4:30 to get some insight on him, and for Charlie and him to catch up on all things Tigers. Wasn't planned that way, but I think it'll work out nicely. So it'll be fun.
Should be great.
2 Tiger alums just talking ball.
I mean, can you draw it up any better?
I don't think so. I mean, 2 national titles in 3 years. What a stretch there.
I mean, they had 5 and 10 in the 90s.
No, really?
How about that?
Okay. Yeah, was Paul Maneri the coach?
Paul Maneri.
Okay. He's a legend, right?
I was his first recruit.
Wow.
Yeah.
Okay.
So he came from Notre Dame.
Yeah.
And That was when I was in Cape Cod pitching, and ended up. That's my little bit about my story, but I was a Division III guy out of Maine, and then had a chance to play in the Cape Cod League, and that opened up every opportunity in the world for me, and ended up transferring to LSU. So he took the job that summer in June or July, and that's when I got recruited. And I would say the funny thing about it too was Terry Rooney. He was the pitching coach, who I think he's at Florida International, Florida Atlantic maybe now. I'm not sure.
He was at UCF, actually.
UCF.
When I was at USF.
That's what it is.
And then he got fired, so now I don't know where he is.
Yeah, same. I'm not sure. But he came up to watch me pitch, and the game got rained out in the second inning. It was one of those, just kind of weren't sure if we were going to play. I'm not. I think I may even gave up a run, but I was like, oh wow, I only pitched for an inning and a third or something, and the game got called. But had a great conversation after the game, and sure enough, gave me an offer I couldn't refuse a couple days later, and I was in.
That's great.
Yeah.
And also, while you were talking, it allowed me to finalize that we are going to talk to Jay Johnson at 4:30.
Okay.
So he'll join us at 4:30. We'll get some insight on Kade Anderson, the Mariners' first-round pick. But in talking about this current Mariners team, Charlie, we're at, and I hate the term halfway point because it's not. You play more than half the games when you get to the All-Star break, but it is a good way to kind of break up the season. All right, pre-All-Star break, post-All-Star break, kind of the first and second half of the season. So when you look at this Mariners team, kind of want to get some of your overall takeaways from what you've seen, and then maybe as we kind of project out towards the second half, what you're certain about and what you might have some unease about or might have some questions on. So when you look at just the first part of this Mariners season, outside of Cal Raleigh, because that's the obvious part, but the overall scope of the Mariners' first half, what really stands out to you about all of these games they have played up to this point?
It's a really good question. I mean, the first word that comes to mind is resiliency.
Mm-hmm.
And just think back what they've dealt with this year. The injuries to the rotation, right? No one would have thought that Gilbert goes down. Obviously, he's coming back and looking great. And then Kirby not making it out of spring training. He's back, which is great. Miller now still down. You look at Robles and the freak injury in San Francisco. I mean, you look at what this team has dealt with, and it's been, not easy to withstand. And you've had other guys that have really stepped up and, picked up the slack when it seemingly wasn't going so well. So, you look at a guy like Randy, right? Obviously, Randy's been doing fantastic. Another guy that I think we haven't even mentioned, which I think we, should have mentioned by now, is Brian Wu, right? Yeah. I mean, he's been outstanding for this rotation of what he's done, especially with what they've had to deal with the injuries, like I just previously mentioned. So, what they've done is done a really good job of dealing with some adversity, and they find themselves in a very peculiar spot here coming up on the deadline. And it's not necessarily looking that much different than, in a lot of ways of the teams of the past. They still have the pitching, obviously without Miller, but they have the pitching that can still dominate lineups and become, uncomfortable to face. So where they're at and what they've done this part has been fantastic, and I'm really excited to see, what moves they'll be made and ultimately what players have a better second half than first half, right? I think there's some players that we looked at. You look at the Polanco of early, the Dylan Moore of early, and then, it's kind of flipped, and obviously Cal's been the constant. Can Julio step it up? Can Randy continue to step it up? Can we still see JP doing what he's doing? And not to mention the guys at the bottom of the lineup, the Williamsons, the Young, the Canzone, the guys that are kind of doing so well at the back of the lineup to continue to, I guess, have another man up, another at bat. Let's go. Let's get the ball moving and try and score as many runs as we can. So yeah, in a long-winded answer, I'm excited. Everything I've seen so far with this team has been, I think, better than it could have been in a lot of ways.
Well, I'm glad you brought up the injuries because it almost seems a season removed, or it seems like a different year where they dealt with that, what felt like a catastrophic injury to Victor Robles. And at the time, you could understand they're coming off a sweep, the hands of the Giants, or this injury happens and it's very traumatic. It happens in the top of the ninth inning. They go on to lose in the bottom of the ninth after that long delay because he looked like he was in agony. And now still the uncertain timeline about, okay, if he's going to come back, what impact can you really make if you're not really doing anything until September? Okay, does he have a role on this team? But Victor Robles, who was supposed to be such a huge part of this team, and he was your leadoff guy. He was the one huge bright spot towards the end of last year. So they get through that. They get through Luke Raley and what seemed like a fluke oblique injury, swinging, just taking BP like normal. He's just swinging, and then he kind of crumples over in a heap, an injury like that, and then all the pitching injuries, where this rotation has not been anything close to the level of dominant that they have been in the past. And it's because they're so injured, because Logan Gilbert had to deal with this injury at the end of April, and George Kirby had a delayed start to the season. And there's Brian Wu, just the epitome of consistency, just churning out 6 innings. Every time out, you can just kind of set your watch at it, just like clockwork. There's Brian Wu.
It's like that infomercial. Set it and forget it.
There's
right?
Brian Wu. Set it and forget it. Oh, is Wu pitching? All right. Well, he's going at least 6 innings. So for him to be kind of the stabilizer where he hadn't really been that role yet, where it had been kind of Logan Gilbert, I'm very excited to see if this rotation gets back to what they were last year when they all were healthy. Bryce Miller and Brian Wu would kind of come into their own. You still don't have Bryce Miller, and that's an uncertain timeline. But, Kirby and Gilbert, we saw some starts at times when they got back that showed flashes of their dominance. But if that rotation finds that second gear like they had, so the fact that the Mariners are sitting here, they are currently in a wild card spot, despite all the injuries, that almost counts as one of the biggest wins of the season for me, because it might kind of get forgotten about in the midst of some of the offensive struggles. But the fact they were able to withstand all of that, and they're still sitting here in the third wildcard spot, you would think, all right, it's going to get a lot better over this second chunk of the season.
For sure. And that's you just bring up such a good point, because it can go so south so quickly when you deal with injuries, and a lot of them are unexpected, right? And, one guy I want to just kind of point out is the recovery, I guess, that Logan Gilbert has made since his injury, and specifically the last 2 starts. If you actually look into it, it almost felt like he was back. Like the first couple starts, you're like, okay, he's looking good. He looks aggressive. Everything's coming out clean, but when you looked at the actual velocity from the velocity of pre-injury that first time, it was like, okay, he'd run it up there to 97, 98 with ease. And I would say he was only probably 95, 96 those first couple starts. And, that tells me, okay, is he just still kind of working the kinks out, trying to feel good, or maybe he's not going full max effort just to ease his body back into the, tensions of throwing. And this last start, seeing up a 97, 98, I go, okay, this guy, he's feeling good. This is the Logan of old. And when you match his extension, and with a 98, that thing looks like 104 coming on you. I mean, this is the guy we talked about last year. He is a force to be reckoned with when he's on. And I just continue to look at him kind of being this X factor in the rotation, because he can go super deep into games and can make hitters feel uncomfortable. And that just sets up the rest of the guys in the rotation to do that much better. But Logan deserves a bunch of credit for how he's come back, and these last 2 starts shows me that he's actually looking healthy and is ideally primed for another good run in the second half here.
A 509 text brings up a good point. In mentioning the injuries, I forgot the true depths and the extents of the injury, because Ryan Bliss injured early on, out for the season, as 509 put it. Bliss in all caps and a couple exclamation points. Sorry, it was not intentional. But yeah, there's a guy that maybe he wasn't the long-term solution for the entire season, and perhaps Cole Young was always in the offing and perhaps part of the future plan. But with Ryan Bliss going down, you didn't have your opening day second baseman, so they did kind of have to piece it together. And now Cole Young is here, and he is the everyday guy, and he looks like everything that we hoped and we thought a top prospect in their system could be. So that kind of gets me down 2 ways, though, into looking ahead, where I'm excited about the potential of this team and the youth and what they have provided. But I also am a little uncertain about if that youth can sustain over the course of an entire season, because we have seen flashes of hot and cold from a Ben Williamson and a Cole Young. And when you're in a playoff race and you're relying so heavily on 2 rookies at 2 premium positions, if they do what they did over this series and over this Tiger series and against the Pirates and the Royals and when they were winning all these series, okay. But we have seen some struggles for Ben Williamson, and we saw Cole Young go through a bit of a drought early on when he first got up here. So the Cole Young from yesterday, very excited about. But for me, I think that's the biggest unknown is in this lineup, when you have two rookies who are essentially playing every day, will they continue to produce at a level you need them to?
It's going to be the greatest question of the second half, right? I mean, can the young guys continue to step it up and become regular big league players? I can tell you right now, the Mariners would not have called either of them up if they weren't ready mentally. I think there's a physical aspect that they all have, right? I think you can easily get up there and, physically fake it till you make it. But the rigors of playing the MLB season are going to wear on you mentally, and you're going to go through a stretch where, you go 0 for 12, right? And you struck out 7 times, and you're just not looking good. You're not feeling good. And, that can be part of that regression, part of that learning curve. But you also have to take into account that every player is going to go through it at some point, but not every player is going to have the J.P. Crawfords, the Edgar Martinez, the Dan Wilsons of the world to help you, conquer anything you're going through. I mean, I think that's the one thing that that really good teams do well at is, okay, there's a blend of older veteran guys that have been there, done that, and played there, and played the full season before and understand how to do it and what it takes. But there's always that second coming. So how do we bring up the young guys and allow them to learn from the older guys of what it takes to play and what it takes from a day-to-day standpoint, physically and mentally, and see if we can blend these two together so that these younger guys don't have this longer learning curve when they're young and go, okay, all right, well, he's young, he's going to go through it. It's like at some point or another, you're not young and you got to go through it as an older guy. So to have these guys in the clubhouse help a Young, help a Williamson, help a Canzone kind of come into their own a little faster, I actually think it's going to benefit them. So I'm not too worried about the regression, although it does happen in younger guys, because what ends up happening is you want to help out the team. You want to do so well. There's personal accolades, and then there's like the team aspect of, I don't want to let my teammates down. I was in a big situation, it was second, third, one out, and I struck out, right? How do I react internally, personally, not only after that at bat, but into the next day? Like, are these scenarios wearing on me? Am I bringing them into the next day? And you sometimes inadvertently do this where you're, self-sabotaging, thinking about things of why you could have done something different. And that's a really, really tough place to be in a baseball player. And what you realize real quickly is there's another game tonight, and you can reverse the wrong, right? You have another opportunity to learn and do something great, and ultimately try and help the team win. And that's what you're on. That's what you're up at the big leagues for. I know, Rowland-Smith said it's an individual sport in a lot of ways, but when you're in that clubhouse, when you're playing every day, it doesn't feel that way. It really feels like you're in it to win it, and these are the guys we're rolling with.
Well, the big marker on the calendar now, because we are officially done with the draft. As of about 20 minutes ago, the draft has come to an end. So now all attention shifts to the trade deadline. It's about 2 weeks away. It's something you brought up with Ryan, and it's a topic of conversation that we've had for months here, because at times the Mariners lineup was a little deficient, and now it seems like, okay, you're right there in the thick of it. How do you make yourselves better so you're not just a playoff entrant, but a playoff contender? And it gets down to something that I found fascinating, where on the course of one day, it was July 9th, both Bump and Stacy and Brock and Salk had two national baseball guys on, Jim Bowden from The Athletic and David Schoenfield from ESPN, and both of them said now is the time for the Mariners to go all in. So here was Bowden first on Bump and Stacy.
I'm not 50-50. I'm 100% pedal to the metal.
Great.
And I want to take advantage of this window that has the starting pitching and the closer that can run the table in October. And 2 years ago, I sat there covering the World Series, watching two wild card teams, the Arizona Diamondbacks and the Texas Rangers in the World Series, as the Rangers won the World Championship. And I look at the Seattle Mariners and I say to myself, go get one big bat, get to the playoffs as a wild card team, which I think they will, and then you can run the table. If you make a trade for Josh Naylor and you put Josh Naylor at first base in this lineup and put him in between J-Rod and Cal Raleigh in this lineup, you're going to score enough runs and get there and let this pitching staff do their thing.
So this was back on July 9th, and this is also when Schoenfield was on. But ironically enough, his attention was brought back to the Tigers, and he used them as an example about why the Mariners should really be all in this specific season.
I'll throw this out there. As good as the Tigers have been this year, they're solid. They're very deep, but they're beatable. At least when Derek Struble doesn't pitch, they're beatable. So if there's ever a year to go all in, it's this year. There's not a powerhouse team in baseball. The Dodgers have their issues. Tigers don't have a number 2 starter in my book. Yankees are vulnerable. So, yeah, this year is the year to go all in.
So, Charlie, the Mariners are 5 games back of the Astros, but they're in a wild card spot right now. After this sweep of the Tigers, and with the Astros looming and a good Brewers team looming right after that, what do you think the mindset is of this Mariners front office looking to that trade deadline? And how does what you just heard there kind of sway your opinion one way or another?
I wouldn't say it sways my opinion, and it's something that you could rewind even into last year. I think the national people were talking about, like, hey, you have an opportunity here, and this rotation is insanely good. So how do we capture something when we have an opportunity right now? And I think that's what you're hearing right there from these guys. They're looking at it and saying, okay, the Mariners yet again are a very intriguing team, and the way that they're built and the way that their pitchers are built, and you heard it, they could easily run the table in the playoffs with the rotation, and obviously with Brash and Munoz at the end. I don't want to discount him not saying Brash, because that's clearly a huge factor when it comes to that. Just looking at it from a whole, I really think that they should make a move and go all in, and I do think that, like, the return on your investment is going to be more valuable than, let's say, the return on your investment 2-3 years down the line if you're talking about getting rid of a prospect, right? It's like, okay, that's the fear, is that, you trade a player in their minor league days that they haven't made it, and then they go somewhere else and they turn into this stud baseball player. And you're like, I traded him for a rental
for 3 months.
Yeah, so like that's the internal battle that they go through. But it's really nice though that when you look at the draft, right? They've drafted another shortstop or two, and there's obviously some shortstop depth with the Mariners. So you look at it and you go, okay, how do we feel good about making our big league club better while not necessarily trying to make our prospect in our system worse? Now, it's a really fine line, because I'd almost argue that the Mariners are in a situation where they would be more beneficial to take a hit on their minor league side and their prospects and their rankings to get that big league bat player right now. I think that's going to be more beneficial in the long term in so many ways, not just from the initial, aspect, but it's like, okay, now we can operate. I know we haven't operated this way. Maybe we've always stockpiled minor leaguers. We want guys with control, but ultimately, how do we figure out ways to, make our big league ball club better? And if we can't sign guys in free agency, then we're going to have to trade guys and acquire them. So figuring out ways to be creative, finding value in players that other teams don't. I think there's a lot of different ways that the Mariners are trying to do the best they can at finding the right player at the right time. Now, a rental player is historically an easy route, right? Like, okay, his contract's up at the year end, and what is that value? How do we get rid of X, Y, and Z player to get this player now? Do we have an opportunity in free agency to get this player again? I mean, that's another question, right? It's like, okay, are we getting a rental? Are we interested in this player beyond this year? I mean, that's another thought process. It's like, okay, well, if we bring him in now and he really blends in really well with the guys and becomes a force in the lineup and brings this team to the playoffs and beyond, okay, now we want to re-sign him, right? I mean, so trying to look at a guy that maybe not only fits the mold from what the team needs, but like, okay, does this guy fit the mold inside the clubhouse within the guys in the core of the team? Like, is this a good guy to add to the mix here? So it's going to be interesting to see what happens here over the next couple of weeks. But I know the Mariners are in a really good spot to make a move that I think could be quite attractive in a lot of ways to make this lineup better.
Yeah, we don't have to throw out names. And just pretty quickly here, would your ideal upgrades be one bat, one reliever? Or what do you think they have to do to be in a spot where you think, all right, now they're good, they're ready to contend this year?
Yeah, I mean, I think a safe thing is one bat, one reliever, right? But I think they've done such a good job with pitching, and I think that, the reliever thing is like, okay, are you going to go after an eighth inning guy? Are we going after another lefty to help out Spire? Or are you going after a middle relief guy, right? A guy that's going to bridge that gap and, pitch along Legumina and Bizzardo, right? Like, is that what we're going for? So the bullpen thing is a little, you can kind of go a bunch of different ways. I would actually lean, personally, is 2 bats. If there's a way to get 2 bats,
okay.
Believe me, I find myself watching Mariner games and realizing that when they score runs, we win the game, right? Obviously, that's not always the case.
Sounds simple, but you're right. 35 runs against the Tigers.
Yeah, but it's
they
like
swept them.
Score a few more runs than you're scoring now, and there'll be times where you run into a pitcher that dominates, right? That's going to happen, but I think there are games where if the Mariners had an additional bat to go through where it was like, oh, man, this is a stretch of hitters in a row that are playing well, it can really make this lineup even more dangerous and uncomfortable to face. It's like, okay, we got Cal on a different planet. Well, let's just start with JP, who's been hitting everything, right? And then you got Cal on a different planet. You got Julio, hopefully doing Julio things. Randy, not a comfortable at bat. You throw one more guy in the mix, then you kind of have a powerhouse of guys 1 through 5 that can be uncomfortable. And I am still of that belief that I think, now the weather's warmer. It's one thing to sign a guy earlier in the year when the ball isn't traveling as much. So I don't think you're going to see any sort of regression from like a ballpark standpoint. I'd actually think you'd see pretty normal stuff. So getting an offensive player, I think, is going to be the way to go. And I think it's going to be more appreciated from a fan perspective than going the other route.
Well, coming up next, Jay Johnson, Kade Anderson's head coach, joins us here on Wyman and Bob.
The season of Cal continues.
And the next offer on the way to Cal, swinging a drive deep to right field.
Big Dumper is in the Derby.
Goodbye, baseball.
Like, what if Cal was doing this for the Yankees and Judge was doing this for the Mariners? Who's the MVP then?
Hear Cal Raleigh in the Home Run Derby today at 5. Live from Truist Park in Atlanta. Only on the home of the Mariners. Seattle Sports on 710 and the Seattle Sports app.
Are you in pain, or maybe you've considered surgery or even joint replacement? Hey, it's Bob Stelton here, and before you make that decision, I've got a recommendation for you. Go see Dr. Mark Wagner, MD, at Seattle Sports and Regenerative Medicine. Now, I did, and it's been an absolute game changer. I had a lot of trauma to my hip from 13 years of jiu-jitsu. So I had a torn labrum, a frayed tendon, some arthritis developing, all kinds of things, and I had heard so many patients rave about the results from their 90-minute outpatient stem cell procedure with Dr. Wagner. So I went and checked it out. And Dr. Wagner is a board-certified Seattle physician with over 30 years of experience performing more than 20,000 stem cell procedures using a person's own stem cells to regenerate cartilage in their own joints. People with severe osteoarthritis, even bone-on-bone, are back to doing what they enjoy doing without pain and without surgery. So whether it's a hip like I had, a shoulder, elbow, ankle, wrist, knee, whatever it is, before choosing surgery, do what I did. See Dr. Mark Wagner first. Go to drmarkwagnermd.com.
Need a break from everything? Escape to a place where anything is possible and the fun never stops. At Silver Reef Casino Resort, you'll discover world-class dining, championship caliber golf, and so much more. Come join the fun and see why we've been consistently rated one of the region's top destinations. Visit silverreefcasino.com to book your stay and discover all the exciting events and promotions we have in store for you. Silver Reef Casino Resort, located off I-5, exit 260.
Find out more at silverreefcasino.com.
History, it had the gold rush. Then came the oil boom, the tech boom, but right now it's the Wi-Fi boom, and Xfinity Wi-Fi is booming. Xfinity has everything you need to tap into the Wi-Fi boom with seriously powerful and seriously reliable connection. It's got 99.99% network reliability and incredibly low lag, so your streams are smoother than making a decision on what to stream. And did I mention that you can even connect to hundreds of devices so you, your kids, your parents, your poker group, and whoever else is at home can all experience the Wi-Fi boom with Xfinity. And the Wi-Fi isn't the only thing that's booming. Get the most reliable Wi-Fi and our best in-class equipment for one consistent price for 5 years years guaranteed all in. Plus, get unlimited data included and no annual contract, all with the 5-year price guarantee from Xfinity. Visit Xfinity.com, call 1-800-XFINITY, or visit a store today. Restrictions apply, not available in all areas. New residential customers only. Select plans only. Xfinity Gateway with X5 Complete required for unlimited data, except in certain areas. Most reliable Wi-Fi based on Open Signal Awards USA. Fixed Broadband Experience Report, August 2024. Actual speeds vary.
Get in the zone, AutoZone.
Welcome to AutoZone. What are you working on today? Hey, that's the spirit. Right now, we're celebrating free with a free STP oil filter when you buy 5 quarts of oil and free Duralast brake pads when you buy 2 rotors. Like always, free battery testing, charging, and recycling at every store. Celebrate free at AutoZone, now through July 28th.
Get in the zone, AutoZone.
Restrictions apply.
This is the story of the one. As a safety manager at a manufacturing plant, he does everything he can to keep his coworkers safe. From finding ways to reduce risks to keeping safety supplies in stock. And for that, he relies on Grainger. Grainger offers a broad range of quality products and next-day delivery, so he can always play it safe. Call 1-800-GRAINGER, click Grainger.com, or just stop by. Grainger, for the ones who get it done.
The home of the Mariners.
One hopper snared at short. On a quick hop by J.P. Crawford. That guy's a magician over there at shortstop.
Seattle Sports.
Download the Seattle Sports app.
Crawl space and attics are not places you want to spend much time, but many homes in our area can have serious issues behind the hatches. Hi, it's the owner of Crawl Pros, Richard Herron. For years, you've heard us talking about how we go where you don't want to. With our free corner-to-corner inspection to keep your crawl space and attic well insulated and free of mold and water. You've also heard about the pest control division of our company to keep your home bug and critter free. I'm excited to tell you about our newest division, Plumber Pros. Plumber Pros takes the same customer-first approach to plumbing that we do with our crawl space, attic, and pest control work. We've handpicked skilled plumbers that I know you'll feel comfortable inviting into your home. So next time you run into plumbing issues, from leaky faucets and clogged drains to full home repipes and sub pump installations, call Crawl Pros and we'll get our plumbing division, Plumber Pros, out to get it resolved. For anything related to your crawl space, attic, pest control, or plumbing, call Crawl Pros or visit us at crawlpros.com.
If you've been in a wreck or a fender bender, you have the right to take your vehicle to any repair facility, not just where your insurance company tells you to go. Accurate Auto Body has been family owned and operated since 1994, and they work for you, not your insurance company. With over 25 years of auto repair work, they'll exceed your expectations. We meet by accident, fixing every last bit. Accurate Auto Body.
At Accurate Auto Body, all their work is performed by certified technicians, only using OEM parts to guarantee the safety of you and your family. For the best in auto body collision repair and customer service, give them a call at 425-883-2450 or AccurateAutoBodyWA.com. Your insurance company may not love them, but you will, because
we meet by accident, fixing every last bit. Accurate Auto Body.
This hour is serviced by the Lee Johnson Auto family.
From the Quantum Fiber Studio, you're listening to Wyman and Bob.
Weekdays 2 to 7.
On Seattle Sports and 97.3 FM HD2.
Well, this has worked out perfectly. Mike Lefko and Charlie Furbush in for Dave and Bob today. And we didn't plan this, Charlie, but the Mariners went and took a pitcher out of LSU. And here you are, former LSU pitcher. So I thought, okay, we have to have this guy on, a guy who currently coaches the Tigers, the head coach of the national title winning LSU Tigers. Jay Johnson joins us on the Emerald Queen Casino Sportsbook Hotline. Coach, how about all this? We got a lot of LSU talk, and Charlie is thrilled to talk some Tigers baseball with you.
Let's go. Taking it to the Pacific Northwest. I love it.
Yeah, Jay, thanks for joining us today. We do want to talk a lot about Kade Anderson, and I think everyone out here is so excited about what type of pitcher the Mariners are getting. But beyond just what guys might have seen from his performance in the College World Series, what kind of player in person are the Mariners getting in Kade Anderson?
Well, in my opinion, they're getting the player that is the closest to helping a major league team that was available in this draft. And I do believe he will be a long-time major league starting pitcher, successful starting pitcher. The pitch ability is outstanding. 4 pitches for a strike. He's never boxed in to if he doesn't have one pitch, he's always got ways to get guys out, both left and right-handed hitters, power, solid hitting steals guys, strikes, or he just fills up the zone. So all the baseball stuff is there. I do think he's got more in the tank in his body as well, so that's exciting. Very rarely do you see a guy that's as polished as Kade is that has a bigger ceiling. But the separator is the person part of it. You're getting an unbelievable competitor. You're getting the highest character person, team first guy through and through, and coachable, just absolute winner. Like you hit the jackpot. Like I honestly can't believe that you didn't go 1 or 2. I really can't.
Yeah, that's amazing. Jay, congrats on everything this year. I'm truly honored just to be an alum. A little insight, I was Paul Maneri's first recruit back in the day.
Nice.
Yeah, now he's over at South Carolina. I don't know what he's doing there. But anyways, I want to know just in terms of the development of Kade, like what did you see? Was there anything unique about him, leading up into this point that you think like put him on to another level? Because obviously he's got some natural stuff, but, you're inside the clubhouse every day. What is he doing differently, or what is about his development path that was different than most?
Yeah, I think first off, he had Tommy John surgery at the end of his junior year of high school. And I remember that phone conversation very vividly and thinking, and I feel bad for Kade, but this might have been the only way he was going to actually show up at LSU. And I do think he would have probably been drafted in the first round at a high school had that not happened. And lucky for us, obviously, and lucky for him. So that was the first part of it. Then the second part, he did a really nice job as a freshman, pitched him in midweek games often, and he could go get you 5 innings, picked up some wins. And then at the end of the season last year, we put him in the bullpen, SEC tournament, NCAA tournament, and you saw a different click of stuff, competitiveness, and it really, really showed me something there. And then this is what makes him special. He's always looking for the next thing, and he killed it last summer in the weight room, adding strength, adding durability. And then the development of the slider this year with Nate Yeske, our pitching coach, and Jamie Tutko, our director of pitching development, really took the arsenal to a whole new level. I mean, the speed differentiation, you just can't sit on the side of the plate. You can't sit on a speed. Does an unbelievable job of getting hitters in between.
Yeah, he mentioned that as well in his. He was drafted by the Mariners yesterday, and then he got hopped on a call with the local media. He really credited the development of that slider. How did that process come about? Did you guys go to him? Did he come to the coaching staff and say, "I need something in these situations"? Or how did you guys work with him to develop that pitch?
Well, I always believed he was a starter, and he did a good job outside of the league last year. We dipped our toe in the water, I think, one weekend against Auburn. We gave him the ball on a Sunday, and it didn't go well. He gave up like 5 in the first. And for me, it was like, okay, what's the next level? Because this is all there. And Coach Yeske and Jamie, like I said, really dug into the pitch mix, dug into why he was getting hit, and felt like that was what he needed. And he's such a good athlete and has such good aptitude. He picked it up very quickly, and just proud of him for doing that. And he took off this year. And then, like I said, the weight room piece, the durability, the amount of innings, the ability to get better deep into games. It felt like he went at least 7 innings a number of times for us, including a complete game shutout in the finals of the College World Series. Just a special season. We had the best pitcher on the planet 2 years ago. And, Cade's season was pretty close to that, to be honest with you, to what Paul Skeens did. And lucky me to have 2 pitchers like that over a course of 3 years. That's how you win national championships, that's for sure.
Ain't that the truth? I was actually telling Lefko earlier, I think, obviously, Anderson did such a good job this year, and now that we found out that the Mariners are going to shut him down the rest of the summer to get him used to the pro life and get himself ready for what hopefully will be a big league season sooner than later. I actually think that he may have a chance to, assuming all things kind of shake out, I think he may have a chance to actually make the team out of spring training. Am I crazy in saying that?
No, I have no idea what the Mariners system is like. I do know that your pitching development is really well thought of, and this is a guy that has incredible aptitude, incredible mental strength, and makeup. So when you put all those things together, a fast track, he seems like one of those players. And I have some connections to the Mariners. Lewis Boyd, one of the coaches on the big league staff, played for me in Arizona, shortstop about 9 or 10 years ago, and was just fired up. Like, they can't believe that they were sitting there with that pick, and the player that was the closest to the major leagues just kind of fell into their lap. And then Andy McKay, assistant GM's a friend of mine, and he texted me about 8 or 9 days ago after he met with Kade and was like, "Hey man, this is special." And like, I mean, he was over the moon that Kade was the player that was sitting there. And I was actually kind of like, we obviously want him to go number one, right? It's your player. But once he didn't go number one, I was like, man, I hope the Angels mess this up too. And just having some connections with the Mariners, I think it's a great fit for him.
Yeah, I think we all were as well. And then, after that pick was made, everyone started to rejoice. Coach, before we let you go, and we appreciate you taking the time here, that championship series opener in the College World Series and that win against Coastal Carolina, I think everyone became nationally aware of Kade Anderson after that complete game shutout. What was his mentality like during that game? Was there any doubt he was going to go the distance, or what were you seeing out of him that allowed him to have such dominance in that game?
Well, it was really interesting. Coastal does a great job battling, spoiling pitches. I mean, that's obviously why they were in the National Championship Series. So they did a good job of that early in the game, and we had, in my opinion, the best umpire in the country behind the plate. But, like, he doesn't call anything that's a ball a strike. Like, he doesn't miss. And Kade does a good job living on the edges and staying out of the middle of the plate. And so his pitch count was pretty high after the first. And so I was like, this is going to be interesting. And then it was about after the it was either after the second or the third. I just went up to him between innings. He's like, "I'll settle in." And I was like, well, nobody knows that better than me. So just keep going, big fella. And then like the 6th, the 7th, and the 8th, he reeled the pitch count back in. And then it was like in the 9th, it's like, there's no shot I'm taking this guy out of the game. And just proud of him for that performance. And it really helped us, setting us up where you get that win and you have everybody available for game 2 and game 3. And as you guys know, that's what an ace does. And he's absolutely an ace.
Jay Johnson, LSU baseball head coach, has been our guest here on Wyman and Bob. Coach, really appreciate the time. I know everyone out here is excited, and it was great to learn a little bit more about Kade Anderson. So thanks for joining us, and hopefully we'll catch up with you after he makes his MLB debut in short time here for the Mariners.
That sounds great. Talk to you guys soon.
All right. Thanks, Jed. There is Jay Johnson. Yeah, good stuff there. What a pitching factory, too. We can come back and talk about that. We'll turn you over to the Home Run Derby coming up at 5 o'clock. We'll put our final wraps on this and maybe some more Kade Anderson thoughts right here on Wyman and Bob on Seattle Sports and the Seattle Sports app.
The season of Cal continues.
And the next offer on the way to Cal, swinging a drive deep to right field.
Big Dumper is in the Derby.
Goodbye, baseball.
Like, what if Cal was doing this for the Yankees and Judge was doing this for the Mariners? Who's the MVP then?
Hear Cal Raleigh in the Home Run Derby today at 5. Live from Truist Park in Atlanta. Only on the home of the Mariners. Seattle Sports on 710 and the Seattle Sports app.
Dave Wyman joined by a very special guest, Dr. Daniel Landis. He's on the Swedish CyberKnife team treating prostate cancer and accepting new patients. Dr. Landis, what could patients expect during CyberKnife treatment?
So the CyberKnife treatment's an outpatient procedure. Essentially, it's a 5-day treatment, about 30 minutes per day. You walk in, you walk out. You essentially don't feel anything at all during treatment. Many patients still work full-time while they're having treatment.
That's incredible. Where are your patients from?
We see patients from all over, patients from out of state, Alaska, Idaho, from all over the world, honestly, since it's such a short treatment.
How can someone get a hold of you?
Yeah, I would encourage patients to reach out to us directly. We'd be happy to schedule a consultation.
Thank you, Dr. Landis and the team at Swedish CyberKnife for the wonderful work they do. And remember, you don't need a physician's referral. Treat prostate cancer with Swedish CyberKnife. Go to swedish.org/cyberknifeprostate.
That's Swedish.org/cyberknifeprostate.
Need a new roof but not in the budget? A new roof doesn't have to break the bank. Justin Shirley, CEO of State Roofing and Exteriors here. Right now, State Roofing and Exteriors is offering 0 down, 0 payments, and 0 interest for up to 24 months. That's 2 years with no payments while getting the protection your home deserves. But this offer won't last forever. Call 866-ROOF-ROOF or visit stateroofing.com today to get on our summer schedule now. State Roofing and Exteriors, held to a higher standard since 1968.
Celebrate 40 years of The Bite. The Bite of Seattle returns to Seattle Center, July 25th to 27th. Over 300 food and retail vendors, plus games and live music. Admission is free. Enjoy a Seattle summer tradition at The Bite of Seattle with delectable multicultural cuisine, live entertainment, and fun for everyone. Enjoy a Friday night screening of Pixar's Ratatouille at the Mural. Taking over Seattle Center July 25th to 27th. Come to The Bite, biteofseattle.com.
Comcast Business helps turn today's small businesses into engines of modern business. It's how restaurants become reliably up and running neighborhood favorites. How retailers become seamlessly restocking, cyber-securing, must-visit shops. And how healthcare offices become the data-managing caregivers that we all depend on. With reliable connectivity, enhanced cybersecurity, advanced fiber solutions, and Wi-Fi backup, Comcast Business is powering the engine of modern business. Powering possibilities.
Now through July 21st, new Comcast Business customers can find out how to get started with 150 megabit internet and Security Edge for $59.99 a month for 12 months with a 2-year agreement. Plus, ask how you get a $500 prepaid card for your business. Call and switch to Comcast Business today. Restrictions apply. Requires paperless billing and automatic payments with bank account. Equipment, taxes, and fees extra. Early termination fee applies.
Seattle Children's is leading the fight against pediatric cancer with groundbreaking research in immunotherapy. It reprograms a child's own T cells to hunt down and destroy cancer. It's hope, powered by science. But here's the truth. Pediatric cancer research is drastically underfunded. That's why Safeway is stepping up, and you can too. G. Scott here asking you to say yes to donating to Immunoheroes next time you're at Safeway checkout. Together, we can help fight cancer for all kidkind.
The home of the Mariners.
It is gone! Cal Raleigh, 2-run home run!
Hear every pitch on 710 and the Seattle Sports app.
Some things can steal your sunshine. Ugh, I just got my hair done.
Sorry, the cooler's broken. Anyone see my flip-flops? Anyone?
But COVID-19 can steal a lot more.
I just took a COVID test. Ugh.
Prescription medications for COVID exist. If you test positive this summer, ask your doctor if they're right for you. Visit PfizerForAll.com/COVID-19 to learn more. Sponsored by Pfizer.
What was that? That is business phone bliss with the Ooma Cloud Phone System. It handles all our voice, video, and messaging needs.
You sound very...
Calm. I am. Ooma has everything I need to run my business more efficiently, like virtual receptionist, call routing, and video conferencing. And it starts at just $19.95 per month per user, plus taxes and fees.
Ooma.
Nice. Find your business comm at ooma.com/radio.
Swing and a miss. Strike 3. That is strikeout number 7 for Brian Wu.
Home. Home is where you get to cook things up just the way you like.
Swing and a miss.
Where you're never afraid to get in the kitchen.
He got him. A huge strikeout from Logan Gilbert. It's 7th tonight.
Where you serve, carve, put some extra mustard on it.
There's the fist pump by Luis Castillo. Strikeout number 10 on the night.
And get a little spicy.
Set a heater at 100. Back-to-back strikeouts for Andres Munoz.
Now you're cooking with gas. Mariners baseball at T-Mobile Park. Welcome home.
The Mariners return from the All-Star break at the end of the week with an AL West showdown against the Astros. Don't miss your chance to catch Cal and the crew square off against their division rivals Friday through Sunday at T-Mobile Park. Then it's 3 straight Mariners value games versus the Brewers, July 21st to 23rd. Get your tickets at mariners.com.
From the Quantum Fiber Studio, you're listening to Wyman and Bob.
Weekdays 2 to 7.
On Seattle Sports and 97.3 FM HD2.
You missed our conversation with LSU baseball head coach Jay Johnson. You can check that out on our podcast page. Click on Wyman Bob on Seattle Sports, on the Seattle Sports app, or on YouTube. The interview will be up. Charlie, you can find us everywhere if you didn't hear us live. So I would highly recommend checking that out. Great insight from Jay Johnson about Kade Anderson. Fascinating that really he's just had one season as a starter, that he alternated between relief and starting. He had 18 appearances, 9 of them starts, 9 of them in relief as a freshman, redshirt freshman. He had Tommy John. And then last year, that was the year that propelled him. The 119 innings, the most strikeouts in baseball, to this top of the draft. And it was funny hearing Jay Johnson say, yeah, we were stunned he didn't go 1, and then glad the Angels screwed it up. And I think that was the consensus around here as well, that, well, I don't know what the Angels were really doing, picking a guy that it sounds like they think will be quicker to the big leagues, but certainly the better ceiling is here with Anderson.
Well, certainly. I mean, from the left side, too. I mean, and you have to mention, or not to mention, he's this draft eligible sophomore, so that's why you get him when you get him, and you see the upside is like, okay, he's still actually young and, ready to get going sooner. So, yeah, I don't know what the Angels are thinking. Honestly, in a way, I'm glad that, it's not any issue the Mariners are dealing with, but sometimes I feel bad for Mike Trout. I'm like, dude, your team and your org just not good. You had Ohtani too, and you're still not good. So I don't know what they're doing with the draft stuff. So I think they're just obviously thinking differently, but in a weird way. But lo and behold, it gets us Kade Anderson.
I think I'd feel more bad. I think I'd feel worse if they weren't in the division.
Oh, right.
So it's a random team. If you had this generational player, let alone 2 generational players, and they were in the NL West or some random division. But now it's just kind of appreciated that they have fumbled a generational player and then another generational player. But yeah, from a pure baseball standpoint, it is unfortunate for Mike Trout. For the sake of what just happened, great for the Mariners, and great that a team is not doing what they can to pick what they, I guess, didn't deem the best pitcher available.
And it's a need for the Mariners. They needed a left-handed starter. Right? So it's like you look at it in the depth in the minor leagues, this immediately jumps to your top left-handed prospect. So that's why I mentioned earlier, and kudos to Johnson saying that as well. Like, he's the guy that's ready to go. His command is up there with some of the best pitchers, and his mental makeup of how he's able to withstand his own skill set, he's got it. So just don't be surprised to see him in a Mariners uniform at the big league level as soon as next year.
And as the Mariners front office says, and as we have seen this year, you can never have enough starting pitching. And they certainly encountered that with having to call up Logan Evans and then relying on Emerson Hancock for a good chunk of starts this season. So we'll see what that means for either moving someone out of the rotation or trading someone, or if just, again, like kind of Ryan was alluding to, maybe in the next few years this means that they know they're not going to be able to re-sign all 4 of these guys that have not been signed to a long-term deal yet. But it does give you a lot of intriguing options with this guy that, hey, if you're getting this at even the half-season point next year, maybe that is early, after not having thrown at any point this year and then into next year. But coming in with that 4-pitch mix, it sounds like he is just advanced beyond his years in terms of understanding how to pitch at an elite level, right into the pipeline of what the Mariners do with their pitching. And that's what sounds like, Jay Johnson was very happy he landed here because of the reputation and the proven track record. The Mariners can just seemingly take any starter, tinker with him, and then boom, all right, poof, he's big league ready, and he pops in like a Logan Evans did this year, just 2 years removed from his draft class as a 12th round pick.
Hard comp. I don't know if I'd say that's the best way to describe it, because I'd say I don't think he needs much tinkering, right? Like, he's ready to go. Like, in my mind, it's just a matter of consistency and execution.
So it would just be reps, just pitching a little bit to see how he fares.
Like reps and getting used to. Wow. I mean, there's a couple things, right? You got to get used to what the new ball feels like. The college baseball is a little bit bigger seams, right? So there's a new spin profile of your pitches and what they feel like and how you can execute them. So that's what it feels like to me. Like, he's that polished right now that he doesn't need much tinkering. It's more of, hey, we're just going to let you go do your thing, and we just know that you're going to show up every day and do awesome. So Actually, now thinking about it, it's more of like this Paul Skeens comp where, okay, I wouldn't be surprised he goes to spring training, dominates, and then it's like, wait a minute, at the end of spring training, like, why didn't you make the team? And then it's that whole,
maybe
we want to control him. We want to, we don't want to call him up now because then he's a Super 2 and we don't have less years of control. So we're going to wait till the May, 14th and then call him up, something like that. So I wouldn't be surprised to see that. But his talent, is the best left-handed pitcher in the draft, arguably the best pitcher in the draft. And you heard it from Jay Johnson. He's the most big league ready guy that is, able to jump into a team here and make an impact.
Yeah, fun to think about, fun to project for the future. All right, we're turning over to the Home Run Derby in a matter of minutes. So, Charlie, quick prediction from you. What do you want to see out of Cal Raleigh? He's got a hit from both sides, right? He's going to turn it around in the middle of the round.
Though?
Do you not want to see him hit from both sides?
I want to see him win. I want to. I don't know if
I want to see him hit from both sides of the plate.
You think that's more important?
Adley Rutschman,
but he didn't win.
He didn't win.
Yeah, if it's going to be America's backside here, I want a homer.
What if Cal has enough to get through, and then just in his bonus time, he turns around to the left side or the right side, or vice versa?
That's totally acceptable. Okay. But I would say I expect a left-handed hitting Cal tonight.
Okay,
that's what I think.
And you think he'll be primarily just all left-handed?
Yeah, if he gets in a groove, I think that's what happens. Like you get out of rhythm, you might as well stay on one side and just groove it up.
Yeah,
All
right. Well, we'll see. It's going to be fun. Charlie, been a lot of fun. I guess you're going to pop back in tomorrow, right? I kind of wheeled you into that.
We'll be celebrating a nice
4 to
little
5.
big dumper.
We're going to celebrate a
victory.
big dumper home run win. Dave Wyman will be back tomorrow, so you'll have me, you'll have Wyman, you'll have Charlie for a little bit. But we have the Home Run Derby coming up. Cal Raleigh hitting nearby Colowee in his hometown. He's going to hit in Atlanta. We'll turn you over to the Home Run Derby right here on Seattle Sports.
The All-Star Fantastic Four. It's now the Mariners' Fantastic Five.
Welcome to Randyland.
As Randy Arozarena joins Andres, Brian, Julio, and Cal.
Holy smokes.
In the 2025 Midsummer Classic. Tomorrow afternoon at 5 from Truist Park in Atlanta. On the home of the Mariners. Seattle Sports on 710 and the Seattle Sports app.
Eric Johnson here. I spent the past 30 years working to help make our community better informed, better protected when it comes to consumer issues, and better equipped to take on whatever life throws at us. That's why I love the free Washington Accident book series from Davis Law Group. These books keep us better informed about the law, better able to protect ourselves on and off the road, and better off when all is said and done after an accident. Chris Davis didn't have to write these books. He did it because he saw a need. People who were in accidents or other legal situations didn't know what to do, what pictures to take, documents to request. Only a tiny fraction of the people who get these free books will ever become clients of Davis Law Group, but that's not the point. Chris wrote them because it was the right thing to do. The free Washington Accident book series is a must-have for drivers who want to be prepared for whatever the road might throw at them. Get yours at WashingtonAccidentBooks.com.
Hi, my name is Jordan Gage, head of school at King Schools. Is tuition cost the number one thing keeping you from making the leap into Christian education? Did you know that King Schools awards over $2.3 million in tuition assistance every year? 25% of the families that make up this incredible Kings community utilize our variable tuition program to make Kings more accessible. The team at Kings would love to have you on campus for a tour and consultation to see how to make it possible for your family to experience the difference in Christian education at Kings.
Mention this ad and no application fee. Go to joinkings.org for more info.
Hey golf fans, Jordan Babineau here. Get ready for an unforgettable weekend at the 2025 Boeing Classic. Come see Masters champions and Hall of Fame golfers battle it out at the club at Snoqualmie Ridge, August 8th through the 10th. Bring the whole family and check out Seahawks Village, packed with fun for all ages. Plus, celebrate 20 years of the Boeing Classic, supporting the Benaroya Research Institute at Virginia Mason Franciscan Health. It's more than just golf. It's an experience you won't want to miss. August 8th through the 10th. Tickets start at just $20 and kids get in free. Visit BlowingClassic.com for more.
Change is always happening. It's part of life. And when it comes to music, change is all around us. Songs are rewritten. Classics are remixed. Bands and artists come and go. Even our taste in music changes. Here at Xfinity, we know there's still good in keeping some things the same. That's why we want to do our part with a 5-year price guarantee on our internet. It means no matter what changes, you get 5 years of the most reliable Wi-Fi with our best equipment included, for a price that stays exactly the same. Surprised? Life is full of them. One internet price, 5 years, guaranteed. Learn more at Xfinity.com/deals. Restrictions apply. New residential customers only. Taxes and fees extra and subject to change. Most reliable Wi-Fi based on Open Signal Awards USA. Fixed Broadband Experience Report, August 2024.
This is the story of the one. As a safety manager at a manufacturing plant, he does everything he can to keep his coworkers safe. From finding ways to reduce risks to keeping safety supplies in stock. And for that, he relies on Grainger. Grainger offers a broad range of quality products and next-day delivery, so he can always play it safe. Call 1-800-GRAINGER, click Grainger.com, or just stop by. Grainger, for the ones who get it done.
Hey, Green Gobbler here. So you've got a clogged drain in your bathroom. Water in the sink's overstaying its welcome. You're spitting today's toothpaste on top of yesterday's toothpaste. You hope that it go away. Yeah, clogs don't just go away. I make them go away. I'm Green Gobbler, the only clog dissolver you need. I'm bleach-free, safe for your pipes, and I work. Guaranteed or your money back. Because I never met a clog that was gonna unclog itself. Green Gobbler. Let the gobbler get it.
If you're 55 or older and into that whole saving money thing, T-Mobile has an exclusive phone and internet bundle just for you. Right now, get 2 unlimited phone lines plus 5G home internet for just $30 each per month with autopay, plus taxes and fees. And with 5G home internet, setup is easy with just 1 cord and no technician needed, which is great if you're also into that whole keeping it simple thing. Switch now and experience the best mobile network in the U.S. Visit your local store to start saving. T-Mobile, it's better over here.
Based on analysis by Ookla Speed Test Intelligence data Q4